start the show. Just start the show. Good God.
Welcome to the From the 108 podcast, starring the drunk uncles of White Sox Twitter. He's a Twitter-like whore, an Instagram thirst trap, and your grandma's guilty pleasure, Beef Loaf. A West Coast attitude in a decidedly Midwest body, My Sock Summer. And your host, he's sharing obscure music thoughts to give you time to hit the bathroom, Chorizy E.
Thank you, Quernsey, and welcome to the From the 108 podcast. Get ready for some booze, bullshit, and a little bit of baseball. Actually, more than we were intending on. We are in the missing Treasy formation. Remember the drinking rules. If I reference a meme or talk about my very well-regarded and popular podcast, The Au you drink. If my Sock Summer mentions this time on the West Coast or blames his kids for something, you drink. And if Treasy shows up in the comments, makes MSS appear to be dumb, you drink. And you can make all of us drink with a tip of $1.08 or more. Preferably more if you could possibly do that.
Please more.
Very important question for you right now, My Sock Summer. What are you drinking, my friend?
So it's not a fancy night. It's just a regular night. Just me and you doing the bullshit, the beers and the baseball.
Going around. Yep.
But I'm going with the booze that's doing the big as your head bottle of Wild Turkey. Not going crazy. So we're going on that. I want to get some of that bourbon that I was drinking on Sunday. It's Austin. It's an Austin, Texas bourbon.
Really?
And Baloney's like, this is, if you like sweet bourbon, you'll like that. And he's like, it's the only bourbon I like from Texas. And I just loved it. It was just delicious. So I'm gonna definitely get that bottle. What are you drinking tonight, Loaf?
MSS, I was debating because I gotta hold it together since I'm gonna be the host, and this one might go long.
No.
I'm gonna be honest. We got a lot to say about a lot of fucking things tonight.
What?
And so I was like, well, do I buy my time? So I can't go tequila. Beer, I'll get too bloated and I'll have to pee like 6 times. So I went back to the well of the red wine. So I got the Carlisle, I got the Mourvedre, which is just a very drinkable red wine. Absolutely delicious. Oh, I can't believe we have a drink already in the comments. And that's our guy Gordo. He says bail money for MSA.
And I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means either.
He meant to say MSS, but
maybe. But we'll save some for MSA as well. Thank you, Gordo. Appreciate you.
Gordo was awesome this weekend. Hooked me up with a big bag of things that you can order on your pizza, and they are delicious.
I was gonna say, because
haven't had any yet, have not engaged, but we'll get there. Been doing my research because you don't like to do things without research.
What are you? You're a chemist now. You're a scientist.
Well, a chemist. I like to know what I'm getting into.
You're like Walter
before
White's
I get into it.
Get in the lab before you hit some of that. White Sox Sal says, "Don't beg for money." Fuck you, Sal. All right. I don't say it enough. MSS usually says it too.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes.
Thanks for tuning in tonight, but go fuck yourself. It's correct.
Oh, we got another drink. We got Jayzel. And Jayzel says bought and paid for it. Thank you, Jayzel. Appreciate you. Jayzel, I missed your drink at the end of the au jus. You threw one in there right as I was closing out, so I'm going to hit 2 for you right now, Jayzel.
Oh, wow. I was hoping that you were going to be drinking type of a rum drink out of a fishbowl. You're like, listen, I can't get hosed, so I'm going to do some Captain Morgan Blue Hawaiian fishbowl with like gummy sharks in it or something.
I'm going to tell you, I'm like Luther Campbell. I got shit on my mind right now. But some of it, if I get too drunk, I'll start saying things. I don't want to start saying too much stuff. So
yeah, don't do that.
I just got to be a little careful here. Mrs. Beef said, I almost opened that bottle of Carlisle tonight. Wow, that's kind of funny that we almost opened the same bottle of.
Come on down.
Of all the bottles that are down there. It is from the wine cellar. HBIC, you are correct. And Alexis Lopez says, "Oh God, it will be a 4-hour podcast." Probably not that long, but we're going to go over 2 hours. That would be my guess.
Yes,
just because
probably.
we kind of have a lot of stuff to say.
We have a lot. You'll be entertained though, Alexis. And you know how much this costs you because you don't tip $0. So just enjoy it. Enjoy the entertainment. Okay.
Sam Reeves says, "No, Teresi, the show lost its sex appeal. We're the only ones who procreated. Teresi has no kids, so we'll tell you who has the sex appeal. It's the guys right here." Who have made some babies, okay?
Sam is definitely an ass man, so we understand that. I can understand that. Like, one guy missing an ass, the other guy just big 6'4" tall guy ass, and then you got double little dude. I get it. Sam, don't worry.
I'm sorry, I can't come in the clutch there. My Sox Summer, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, and if you don't watch the Sunday Soak, first of all, what the fuck's wrong with you? You should watch it. We're half naked. You see a lot of nipple. I sit uncomfortably close to Teresi and like whisper into his ear and make him uncomfortable almost the entire show. He actually is okay with it now, which makes me afraid that I'll have to do something different next year. Like I have to do something weird.
You got to get him off balance.
Pull my pants off or something. Just something to get him all weirded out,
Exactly.
But I told the story of what went down Saturday night. Saturday we had a great tailgate. Everyone showed out, which was great. The best thing about this tailgate is they get all these, and I don't know, I know HBAC is in the comments, maybe you can tell me, but like they get all these RSVPs, right? And like it's looking like there's gonna be 300 fucking people coming to this thing, and you're like, oh shit, like I'm not asking Lawrence's to provide 300 servings of shrimp, right? Like it's just not happening. So give me food for like 60 people, like 60 hungry people, and that's basically what they do. And so I was a little worried, and I was like, I don't, there's 300 people coming, and then we had probably close to about that many people, but not everybody eats. And then there was food left like all the way towards the end of the tailgate, which was awesome because that's what you want to do. You want to run out of food. You don't want to have it. So thanks again to those guys for helping us do that, and for Lawrence's for showing up. But I told the story in the Soak. And because you guys didn't watch the Soak, or you should watch the Soak, you should go back and watch it, but you can't watch it anymore this year because it's over now. Fucking over. Yeah, all right. We already did the last one. There's no more.
Nothing but reruns, baby. That's it. No new episodes until next year. If we bring it back. Bring it back. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see
we might not even bring it back.
Who knows?
We might not even bring it back. Maybe we'll do something different. Maybe we'll go sit in Billy Wire's pool, and we'll just have the pulley stoolies. We'll bring over all the boys that he loves, the stoolies, and we'll do the pool in his backyard. But anyway, I told the story. Saturday night, I'm sitting there. I'm just enjoying my fucking life because I'm there with a buddy of mine from high school, good friend, and don't see him very often.
You guys were broing out. I liked it.
Yeah, I haven't seen him for like 5 years. And then our other buddy calls us FaceTime. He's hammered, and we're hammered. And so he's FaceTime hammered in Arizona, and we're all just shooting the shit in the thing. And when you put up the picture of me on the phone in the
yes.
In the
class picture, and you're on the phone. The man is on the phone. In the class picture.
Him at that point, he's on FaceTime, but we can't hear him, so we have to put it up to our ear. So while I'm talking, and right after all this happens, apparently, because I don't remember the exact specifics, but I got smacked in the back of the head by this woman, and I'm like, and I didn't.
No kink shaming on this show. No kink shaming.
Didn't know what was going on, so I turn to my right, and there's a woman in the aisle, and she's wearing the polo shirt. She's a slight woman.
Okay.
She's smaller, she's shorter, and I go, what's up? And she goes, you gonna do it to my face? And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, are you gonna do it? Yeah, I wish I was high. I wouldn't have done anything if it was high.
You look like that.
She's like, you gonna do it to my face? I'm right here. You want to do it to my face? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. She's do it to my face. Do it to my face. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna assault me again? Why won't you do it in my face? Do it to my face. And I'm like, what the fuck is this woman talking about? And I have no idea. And she finally does this. And I was like,
oh yeah.
Oh, now I know what you're talking about. And I go, I actually did that motion at a very gay gentleman that was sitting right back here. His name is Vino. And they look at me and they go, and she's like, yeah, right, kind of deal. And I look over and Vino's sitting there and I go, Vino. And he looks right at me and does the little thing right there. And the woman goes, says, oh my God. Oh. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. And then continually, I'm so sorry. 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 And keeps going. I'm like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And I explained this in the Soak too, and much more longer and a lot more emotion. But I was just like, listen, I have 2 daughters, and if somebody was like doing something to my daughter like that, I would expect them to go over and get in their face and yell at them too. Like, and I don't want them to get hurt, but get in there and start yelling. But also, if they do that and they find out that they made a fucking mistake, they can apologize for it and then fucking own it. You're not going to get me going, well, no, I'm going to cancel you, bitch. And it's like, I don't, that's not my deal. So it was a nice, like, counter back, and she was fine. And I said, listen. And I was like, listen, Toots. I go, don't you worry about anything. Don't worry your pretty little head here. I would never assault you. But no, she was like fine. It was a good like all around thing. And it made my night, because you're just like, listen, we actually can get along as a species, and not kill each other and be somewhat level-headed.
Almost.
And I was like, almost. But she didn't, she just.
Are you bringing this story back because of the things we're talking about later, that you're just proving you're innocent right now, and then later on we're going to talk about people maybe not so innocent?
Maybe, but no. I just bring it out because I want people to hear it. I just think I thought it was a good story, and I was just like, it needs to be told twice. It needs to be told twice.
It needs to be delivered again.
How are you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm good. I want to get to a couple comments here. Alexis Lopez says, this story
shut up.
Question mark.
Again, sip and I'll shut up. You want to mute me?
I should stop pulling her comments. But
fucking 5-minute mute, $10 right here. There you go.
So your socks. And that's how Violent Myers put a restraining order on MSS. No. He would have apologized immediately to Violent Myers.
Oh man, if that was Violent Myers, I might have made that fine at her face.
Mr. Beef said this is going to be a 4-hour show. Not 4 hours. We're not going to. We don't have the stamina. We're getting old now. Jay Zell with another drink. He says MSS looks like he picks and eats his belly button lint. I'm going to guess no, but I mean he may look like that way to you. I can understand that look.
I don't know. I don't know. I know. I've never eaten belly button lint. No, I might have found some type of food on my shirt and then like maybe eaten it.
You've never had like a McNugget fall in the belly button and maybe it got a little lint on it. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. A cheese ball could have fell into the belly button. I don't know how cavernous it is. Alexis Lopez is challenging. I got to see if I can find the timer because we do have the timer somewhere in here.
You got to put it up in the corner.
Oh, I got it up here. There we go. All right, we're started right now. Alexis, thank you. That's 5 minutes of. Let me put this up on the board. That's 5 minutes of B-Flow solo time. So, cheers. Thank you, Alexis. Yeah, he's muted. So what I was going to talk about is I went out. And I wish MSS could comment on this, but I went out for my morning stroll like I normally do. I'm walking around. I'm getting ready to cut the promo for the show because Thursday mornings I'm usually the guy cutting the promo. The other guys occasionally MSS will cut, but usually it's me. I walk to the middle of Armour Park and I open up my phone and I like move my arm a certain way, and man, I smelled this arm, the right arm, MSS smelled like a Polish sausage at the park. That's the whiff I got right in there. I was like, bro, like it was like debilitating. And I'm a guy who prides myself, even if I'm on exercise, you're going to get sweaty and everything, but I should still smell reasonably good after the exercising. And I was just like, oh, my Lord. It didn't stop me. I still did the promo. So when you're watching that promo for the 108 podcast tonight, I'm really stinky, only in one armpit, though. Right armpit. I smelled the left I got it, and it's like, man, the left is good. I must have missed on the spray. I went to spray, and I whiffed right armpit, and I didn't get any in there. Absolutely huge mistake. But it got me thinking, that's a ballpark smell in a way, Polish sausage. You're not armpit smell, but they're close to each other, And Timothy Myers says, I thought I saw your eyes watering. They were, actually. And I was sweating, too, from all that. It was a real struggle out there. Exactly. But it got me thinking. We said it last week, me and the boys. I think we said it in Soak. We may have tweeted or whatever. I'm sick of going to the ballpark right now. I love White Sox baseball, and I love being a season ticket holder. I love going to the game, but I'm fucking sick of it. I'm tired of going to the park. I don't want to be in there anymore, and I'll go to the last couple games or whatever. But it got me thinking of some of the things that I'm getting tired of. Number one, I get tired of people who come down and they don't take care of their their BO, their natural. Yeah, exactly. I think I have to take care. Yes. You take care of your body odor. Bathe before you come down. I'll take a picture with anyone, but please don't come down there stinky. Don't be a stinky person and come down there and expect to like hang out or whatever and talk my ear off, right? get yourself, all together. That's one thing. Two, I'm getting a little sick of when the White Sox, especially on a slow night, they shut down my beer stand right behind us. It's like, bro, it's right there, man. And you got drinkers in this section. And then I go up there and there's like no fucking beer. Then I got to go get the double lemonade and vodka and all that shit. And I'm not interested in all that. The next thing, look, guys, you don't have to. You come down the section, and then people in the comments, you're excluded from this. But when you come down to the section, you don't have to tell me you're a listener of the show when you're totally not. When you're full of shit, you do not listen to the show, okay? And I know if you ask me a question, there was an integral part of the last show or the last 2 or 3 shows, and you asked me straight up about the question, and you have no idea that we spent 30 minutes talking about it, I know you don't listen, okay? You don't have to listen. It's okay. You could just be there for the party, but just don't lie to me that you do listen. It's been getting me upset lately. I've caught a few people in this, and I'm not naming names, and I don't care. I still like the people who did it, but don't bullshit me. Don't. I'm sick of all that bullshit. All right? Last thing, when you come to the game, please come to have fun. Please come to enjoy yourself. Don't have a dump in your pants, not literally or figuratively. Okay? If you want to have a dump in your pants and be a pain in the ass, please don't talk to me. Go sit on the other side of the section. Go sit by someone else who wants to complain and do nothing but complaining. I'm there to get drunk and watch the game. Even when we had reporters coming down or whatever, and we're friendly and we talk to the people and everything. And I liked them all. They were all very nice to us. But in a way, it's an annoyance. I kind of want to watch the game and bullshit with my friends and kind of have a good time. So these are the things that I'm wearing thin on the ballpark right now. I had to get off my chest. I'm glad Alexis bought this 5 minutes for me because I wanted to say all this stuff. And I thought, well, they're not going to be able to fit it in. We got to talk about Diddy a little while. we gotta talk about those 2 articles that were written, and the thing at the 78. I know MSS is hot about that. So anyway, I'm glad you're able to get that off my chest. I'm gonna pull up a drink now from Baloney. Baloney says stick deodorant or GFY. Axe body spray don't work. Beef. Not Axe body spray. I'm a spray-on guy. It's easier if you already got the shirt on. You can get underneath to get the spray. It's easier. I'm not a roll-on guy. I don't want to see my armpit hair, and I trim my armpits because to eliminate some of the stench. You see my armpits right here. They're not,
they're not hairy.
They're not hairy. And I try to trim down because that eliminates some of the stench there. But I don't need my pubic hair in there, and I'm looking at the bar, and it's got the armpit pube in there. I don't want to see that. All right, that's bad for you. So, but anyway, thanks for the drink, Blue.
Thank you, and thanks for all your guys' help, and thanks for actually they came through Sunday too. So I got to hang out with Baloney and his daughter and my daughters, and we got to go stand in line for 3 innings while they got an airbrush tattoo on their arm that came off immediately upon entering the shower. So that was great.
It is what it is. Timothy Meyer says, whoa, we got Michael Phelps shaving his armpits over here. Not fully shaved, but trimmed down quite a bit. I gotta keep it trimmed down quite a bit. So
man, that's assault.
That is
that's mean.
All right, fine. Jerry O'Sullivan says, here's for an MSS.
Oh,
man.
Jesus.
Cheers, boys. So I'll mute myself and I will put
no. Hold on. Let's rant. Well, we could do that, I guess. We could do that.
Hang on, you're right. Before that, let's go back to the topic. Jerry, we will do this in a second. MSS, what things are you getting tired of at the ballpark? You heard all the stuff I was getting tired of, and we said we're getting tired. I would like to hear what you're tired of at the ballpark.
It's very similar, but I agree with you about the people being there and just coming down and then like they obviously don't listen and then act like they are like our biggest fans. It's like it's okay, you don't have to listen. Like we don't care. But what we do care about is that you buy one of our.
The 2024 Chicago White Sox have made history on the South Side. And to celebrate their accomplishments, FromThe108 has created this t-shirt. Crafted with premium cotton and printed right here in Chicago, this shirt will show everyone that you witnessed history. The back will feature all the records set and broken in 2024. Secure your size by ordering one today.
So I'm going to throw the clock up there. You mute yourself. I'm going to give you 5 minutes on why you should buy that shirt. And this is why you should buy that shirt. Okay. There's like a bunch of people that have already bought the shirt. Now, when I say that, remember, I'm the person selling this shirt. So I want you to buy more, but we sold a ton of them already. You're going to feel left out next year when you walk to the park and everyone's wearing their history shirt and you don't have one. Okay. So make sure you buy one. Now, will I order extra? Maybe. We'll see, but I'm not ordering as much as I can because somebody who's not on this podcast right now made us order a bunch of these and they're not sold out yet. So let's fucking move, people. Okay. Now, are we going to have an end of the season sale? Potentially. Are you going to get something for nothing? Maybe, but like, go. You're not going to get that new shirt. Now, my guy Beef Loaf is like, listen, MSS, I got an idea. This is how I'm going to sell some shirts. Here's what I'm going to do. Out of whoever buys a shirt tonight, right now, one of you is going to get your shirt for absolutely no money. We will ship it right to your house. We're not even going to charge you shipping. Okay. That comes right out of my pocket. No big deal. No big whoop. Okay. No big whoop because Beeflo says it is, and that's what it is. So if you go to 108.ing, that's 108.ing/merch, you can go right to the fucking pre-order. You'll get the shirt, order in your size, small to fucking 6XL. And you know what? Same fucking price. You got a small shirt, it's like this fucking big, okay? 6XL, it's like this fucking, I can't hardly do that. I got my shots today. It really hurts the arms. But yes, it's like this fucking big. Same fucking price. You know why? Because we don't fat shame in the 108, okay? We used to be fat, we lost some, well, Beef Loaf is still fat. But like he's trying to make adjustments. But I myself have lost a lot of weight. So I am no longer a 3X, 4X guy. I am a standard 2X guy, and it's perfect. But so go to 108.ing/merch. Now, what else can I talk about for 3 fucking minutes? I'm not going to miss. Maybe I'll talk about some things that I will miss at the park. I will miss walking down to the park as my gummy kicks in about halfway there, and I start questioning myself and going, am I really that high? Am I high? Am I high? Am I not that high? And then I get in there and the desire to go buy Garrett's popcorn increases as the time goes on. Yes, I'm high. So this is that's a problem. Second thing, not being able to booze it up or do drugs with my friends during the middle of the week without looking like a fucking absolute fucking gigantic douchebag. Like you cannot, there's very few things that you can say to your wife in the morning when you're hungover as hell on a Wednesday. Like, hey man, I got really shit hammered. And they're like, oh, did the Sox win? It must have been a good game. No, they lost 14-1. But guess who showed up? Kevin Bell's raggedy ass baseball glove. Like we had to do shots and we had to get crazy. Like you just don't have that excuse anymore. I'm not gonna miss people. Okay, we got one t-shirt. So right now, he's batting 100%. So if somebody else gets in there, then it's a 50-50. If somebody else gets in there, it's 30% chance. This is all pretty good. So like as the first guy in, that increases your odds. Well, I mean, it doesn't really increase your odds, but it's a good look just in case. I also will miss stinky people. Or I won't miss stinky people. I don't want to smell people. I don't want to smell what you've been doing. I also sometimes will just take a shower before I go to the game because I'm like, I don't want somebody to catch a whiff and go, it's him and he's stinky and he has a like sort of popular podcast. I don't want people to go that my sack summer is my stinky summer. I don't like it. So I don't want that to happen. I'm gonna miss seeing people that I only see when we're at the ballpark, like my ladies in the back that work at the barbecue stand. They got to see my daughters this past weekend, so she's good for at least another 6 months. We'll send her a Christmas card. But yeah, no, I'm gonna miss seeing those ladies because they're always got a smile and they're always asking questions. I'm gonna miss my little security lady that I say goodbye to. So yeah, there's a lot going on. I'm gonna miss that. I will not miss somebody continuously talking to me during the entire fucking game. Okay. I don't need that. Okay. Like give me 15 minutes apiece. About 7th inning, I don't want to talk to you at all because I want to watch the game from 7th inning to the end. Right. Unless we're getting like spanked, but like, please just give me from the 7th inning on. Don't talk to me. Don't tell me your dumb story. I don't want to hear it. So, but yeah, no, I appreciate that, Jerry, for letting me, speak my mind for 5 minutes. Loaf, do you have anything to add to that before I do what I think you're going to do?
Yeah, no parting thoughts. I will miss, our the people at the beer stand above, and all the people we run into at the ballpark that we see every so often, either people that work there or other fans that we don't sit in a section, but we actually bump into quite a bit as they're ticket holders. I will miss all those people. Those are like our summer families, and now it's going to be the winter coming up, and we won't see them for a while. So.
We don't see you for a while, and that's sometimes good, especially with family. So sometimes you need a little bit of space.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder. There's no question about that. My summer. Would you gladly sell me some shrimp, baby?
Here you go.
Pumpkin spices everywhere. Creamer, coffee, cookies, cake, cereal, cocoa mix, candles, and that's just the C's. But pumpkin spice shrimp? No way! You don't want to mess with the classics. Lawrence's has been frying up your favorite shrimp for nearly 75 years, avoiding all the trends. You can always count on Lawrence's to deliver the best fried foods in the city of Chicago. So stop by one of our 4 locations today or visit our website at chicagoshrimp.com to place an order for pickup or delivery. Come see why Lawrence's Fish and Shrimp have been serving up the seafood you crave since 1950.
All right, so when we talked to our contact at Lawrence's, when she brought all the shrimp and all the fried goodness to the tailgate, she goes, "Hey, I heard the new ad. I really liked it." And she's like, "That's hilarious. Are you still using AI to make your ads?" And I go, "No, man, that's all me, man. I'm not using that. No." I'm like, I'll do a couple during the year if they're funny, but like, this is like, once I found the people making the sound, like write the songs, I'm not using AI again. I'll just make a song. But now this is all me. So she's like, "Oh, that was really good." And then we got in this discussion, and like, we've been talking to one of the guys at the Sox was just like, "Hey, you should do this for other podcasts. You should read their ads. Your ads are that good." And I was like, you know what? You're fucking right. They are that good. So I should get money. We've sold 3 shirts. I think actually more than 3 shirts now. So yeah, keep them orders coming in, because
one of you is getting a free one. One of you is getting a free one. Maybe we'll make 2 free ones. Maybe we'll do 2. You want to do 2?
Who knows? Maybe, maybe we'll do 2. We'll see. Maybe we'll see if Chincy Chirizi will let us give away more than 2 shirts, okay? We'll see if he can do that. So, Loaf, the floor is yours, my friend.
We don't have a real planned segment, nothing that we normally do, but I thought it was prudent of us to talk about who I know is Sean Puffy Combs, but nowadays he's called Diddy more often. P. Diddy. It was P. Diddy, then it was Diddy. He's in a lot of trouble. He's in a lot of trouble. He's been arrested, kind of a planned arrest. He fled from his homes a month or so ago.
Yeah,
and then they were planning to arrest him one day, and they arrested him a day earlier because he's such an arch criminal at this point. The events that he's holding was holding that was getting him so much trouble were called freak-offs. MSS. Let me ask you this real quickly before we get into it. You're in the West Coast.
Yeah.
You might maybe imbibing a little bit, maybe some substances. We're not going to name which ones.
Right.
Babes around, whatever. Was there ever a freak-off going on where you were there and you were at it?
No. I hung out with people that were actually good looking, so there was no way that people were going to have a freak off. If I hung out with like some more questionable folks and maybe did meth or something and lived more inland, not necessarily next to the ocean like I did, I'm sure we would have. There would have been a lot of meth and like some coked out whore bangs and maybe some freakouts out there. Yeah, sure, maybe, but no, I didn't do that. I lived in a classy area. I lived in Huntington Beach, so we no freak offs in Huntington Beach. Okay.
I mean, just reading the indictment. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but is when it says his name, it says Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love. I don't remember PD or Love. What the hell are Love? I never heard him called Love.
Oh my God,
that's got to be part of the freak off. I would think that's freak off language that we don't understand currently. So anyway,
I mean, yeah,
the charges brought up on him are numerous: sex trafficking, racketeering, blackmailing, evidence tampering, abusing, drugging, coercing his victims, and so on. I even in the deposition when I was reading through it earlier, the indictment, it has arson in there. I don't know what he's. Did he burn down Andre Rison's house too? I don't know what the arson was exactly.
How do you think that started in the record business? He was a go guy for the Columbia Records, and went over there and was like, "Hey, it was not Lisa Left Eye Lopez. It was our intern, Mr. Combs.
He burnt up Luther Vandross's car to make him sign a contract. No, there was some story about some rapper whose car he blew up. I think that must be the arson in there. Also, so outside of the The charges, it says the feds reportedly seized narcotics, over 1,000 bottles of both baby oil, lubricant, etc., 3 AR-15s when they picked off his house. The enormity, MSS, of 1,000 bottles. I mean, that was like when they in old school when they were trying to get ready for a Blues birthday party and they were doing the KY wrestling. Like that's. Yeah. I don't even think that's 1,000 bottles of that shit. Like, come on now.
Look, this is something that's been boggled in my mind since I heard it. Right, like I think it's true. Because the dildos thing was like fake, right? Like that came out as fake. Like it's not. He didn't really have almost 800 dildos in his house.
Now hang on, I don't know. I'm not sure. This looks realistic. It does say 784 dildos have been seized from Diddy's house, but then you're right, it was fake because actually those are just Shannon Sharp's. Those are Unk's dildos, so it's all good. We got nothing to worry about there. We're all good,
man.
Shannon Sharp Unk is under control with all those.
Jesus,
so you're
I
right
like
about
how he has
that.
the double like on his shoulder, like Dexter St. Jock. He's like, hey, this is for you and your friend. You know, just wait.
What you're doing on the island of love, alone. He's certainly not alone in this.
No, like, where do you go? Like, so there's a point, right? Like, some people, like, I have a family of 4, and there's things I won't buy at Costco because there's too much, right? So, the amount of lubricant that, like, where did it end? It was like, was he yelling at his assistant every day? He's like, I need 6 more bottles of lubricant. I need 6 more bottles of lube. We need to get more lube. And the guy's like, finally, like, listen, I can get you 1,000 or 500. And he's like, no, or 200. He's like, that's not enough. And he's like, 500. Okay, it's not enough. So was there a price break at like 1,000 that you got to that they were like, here, we'll just give you like this much for free?
No, I think you're thinking about it wrong here. You know, when you're accumulating drugs and stuff for the freak offs, which we had heard was like, kind of some people for their will, some against their will, some prostitutes, male and female,
male prostitutes,
male was isolated as there were male prostitutes. I think MSS, if you're getting all that illicit stuff, you're getting your drugs. You're also getting this. This is. Some organized crime is providing this to you. It is not. You are not buying it off the shelf. 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Okay.
Organized crime is providing this as also with the drugs and the guns and all the other shit. They're like, well, we can get the baby oil too. We got a baby oil connection. You know, right down the street. We're gonna get the baby oil for you. Yeah,
I've heard about that. I heard about like there was a cop that called in on the Stern show and was saying, hey, listen, this is what they find when they do sex trafficking. There's like tons of baby wipes. There's tons of the lube and all that stuff. And I was like, dude, Diddy's got money. Like, I don't know why. Like, he killed Biggie to get all Biggie's money, so I don't know why he needs the sex traffic. I don't understand this. Like, I just don't get it.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was off my walk at lunch today. I was thinking, I can't believe he built an empire of freak-offs off of Christopher Wallace's street poetry. He built this huge empire about that fat man's great street poetry. It's unbelievable to me. I absolutely just cannot believe it.
It was it Danity Kane or some shit, the all-female pop group he tried to put together? Like, no, that wasn't making him any money.
That's not doing anything.
We got to
drink here
I'm
for
going to
Paul.
remix this this Biggie Small song 17 times. Throw some Sting in there. It'll be great.
Paul says, here for the Diddy cocktail. Well, we got something for you, Paul. Here you go. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, Paul. Like, it is not over. Not even close to being over. Not even close.
Couple more comments. Treasy says, took one night off and both you fucks go 5 minutes solo. We got paid to go 5 minutes solo. Shut the fuck up.
Made more in tips than we ever had with you, motherfucker. No, I'm kidding.
Ian Eskridge says Diddy shops at Costco. I don't think so. I think. Oh, okay. Here it is. Alexis Lopez says he blew up Kid Cudi's car.
Was it
that's
really?
The one, that's okay. Yeah, that's the story I heard. I couldn't look. This has been coming at you like all the information's coming at you so fast. I can't absorb it all. I was kind of like, I knew he blew up someone's car. Wasn't exactly sure who it was.
Man, Alexis coming in the clutch twice. She knows, giving us money and giving us
she knows pop. She knows
Good job.
She knows the pop culture, man.
Good job.
Treasy says KY stock is way down this week. Allegedly, they said Johnson's baby oil. If I'm Johnson's, I'm suing, man. Don't put that out there. Don't put us out there. We didn't do nothing here. You know what the fuck? And Joey P says, interest rate drop off another 0.5%.
There you go.
The economy's waged on it. But MSS, not only was this news wild, but the internet was going wild. And I plucked a few tweets that I thought were pretty fun, interesting.
It's probably a good thing to do.
For this first one from Cozy says, Diddy must have used 20 bottles of baby oil on Meek Mill. He had to cool off his cheeks in the water. There's a lot of like Meek Mill calling him daddy and weird things. Meek Mill's also a rapper. I think he's from Philadelphia. Okay, I could be wrong. I think he was in prison for a little bit.
Okay,
so, yeah, that's. But there seems to be a little bit of a. We don't speak about the download game, but you can all look that up. What the download shit is. Okay, check that out. Fine. Next one up says, I'm kind of trashed. It said, this is how they found dudes at Diddy's crib. And there's a guy who's in a little cage, like I would have a cage for Morton.
Yeah,
Morton's cage is probably even bigger than that. That poor dude is trapped in there.
I think that's like a Dom porn video. I mean, I'm not the porn guy, but I think that's probably from.
You're not. No, you don't have a lot of experience with porn, but that no, porn guy
definitely don't.
And then this one from Sassington MC says, my mom just sent me a voice text asking what a freak off is because all her young staff is talking about it. Diddy, you will pay for your crimes for real today on this because what the fuck do I tell her? Exactly. I don't know how to describe a freak off. It's not an orgy. There's people being forced to do things right there. It's almost like I'm not sure. You're like a forced performer of some sort. It's kind of like, and they were making mention. They had IVs on hand. Motherfuckers were getting so dehydrated from the sex acts. They'd hook them up with IVs and get this shit in there. Can you believe that shit?
That does show compassion, though. Like, you want to make sure the person doesn't have like a raging headache after they've had their.
We don't want you to get dehydrated. We're going to force you to fuck all these people, but we don't want you to be dehydrated. Okay, we'll take care of you.
You're not going to get a really good butthole pounding if you're fucking dehydrated. Like, you need to do something. Now, here's the deal, though. First off, I was shocked that there's male prostitutes. Women, I had no idea you were getting men to come like blow your back out. Congratulations. Welcome to equality. This is it. You're paying for sex just like guys are. Good job. Second, and then like, how happy is a male prostitute? I mean, got to be like put into that position where he's like, hey, I'm getting paid to fuck, and this is my job. So I don't really feel bad for that person unless they've been coerced, like, and are there not doing their free will. But when your job title is I fuck for money, that you're doing what you're probably supposed to be doing.
Well, MSS, you don't know the working conditions. Maybe it's not something that you get into it and then you don't know. It's not what you signed up for, you know?
I don't know what the world of illegal, like, like
what's considered fine and what's not. Yeah, I don't know where the line is either. I mean, I got to be honest with you.
Your pimp? Like, I don't know if you can do that. Now, I do feel bad for the women that had to participate in this, thinking that they were going to get a record contract, get featured on the 17th remix of Biggie Smalls' song, or be all up in the video when the next Bad Boy thing is released. Like, I feel bad for that. Like those people, I don't think that that's right. And like, people say, well, they probably gave consent while they're there. And I understand that kind of to a point, but also.
Yeah, but he is the boss of the record company, man. It's not when there's the levels of control there, it's not really consent. Like,
and he probably didn't like start it off with like, hey, you need to, we've all seen Requiem for a Dream. He's like, hey, ass to ass, let's go. Like, he didn't start there. He started something really smart. He's like, yo, kiss this guy. Kiss this guy and then see what happens. Right. And then she's like, oh, that was fun. We just made out. And then the next time it's like this bad shit, or whatever. He just works it up and then he just fuels them with drugs too. Because there was drugs everywhere. Like, he got blasted with drugs.
That was the thought too, is that some people got drugged. And who knows? Some people probably got drugged for the coercion. Some got drugged to whatever. And so, yeah, I mean, this is a fucked up situation. Weird. Paul says everything I learned from Deuce Bigelow was a lie. We don't know. We're not vouching in either direction. And John Carney says sex workers need to unionize. I agree 100% with that.
And I think unionize, they do in Nevada. I think there is they do have a union.
Right. Yeah, Money Ranch.
Where it's legal, they are unionized. Thank Christ.
Exactly.
And it should be.
Someone says you had some thoughts about this Diddy situation. I did. You should share them with the class.
And we like playing games on this show.
We do.
We have Smash or Pass. We have this or that. And I figured tonight, it's only appropriate we do Diddy or Dahmer. So I am going to read a few things, and we will say it will be like, is it something that happened, from Diddy, or is it something from Jeffrey Dahmer? Okay, so like it could be something they found in the house on the raid. It could be something that was just in the court case, something that's in the complaint against the person. It's not just, they found 767 dildos at this guy's house. All right. So, well, if you're going to tell me Diddy, you're going to tell me Diddy or Dahmer. Okay. So, number one, recorded material found titled Cocktails, Chippendales Tall, Dark and Handsome, Hard Men 2, Hard Men 3, Rock Hard, Peep Show, and Tropical Heat Wave. Also, an episode of The Bill Cosby Show and a lecture on evolution. Was that Diddy or Dahmer?
I'm going to go ahead and say that's Dahmer because I don't think Diddy would need to have this. He's got live action there. He doesn't need to get a tape of this stuff. So I'm going to say it's Dahmer.
Right. No, you were correct. That is Jeffrey Dahmer.
Absolutely.
It also was like videotapes found. I was like, what? Diddy ain't gonna have no videotapes. You stupid ass Mike Sock Summer. You got to change it up.
Ago,
so I said recorded material. Number two, also found were firearms and ammunition, including multiple semi-automatic rifles with the face serial numbers, as well as a drum magazine. Is that Diddy or Dahmer?
I mean, Dahmer was more of he used hard tools. He was like use a hammer or something like that, a saw or something. He wasn't into the guns as much. I'm gonna go Diddy. Diddy's got the gun. Puffy has got the guns, in my opinion.
You are 2 for 2, Loaf. That is Sean Combs. You actually mentioned that in your thing, and I'm going, well, there's one that I can't really use, but we're going to try it anyway.
We're going anyway. The crowd knows it was him, too. They knew
I'm going to change AK-47 to multiple semi-automatic rifles. Yes. Okay, number 3. Large hypodermic needle and ornamental driftwood. Is that Diddy or Dahmer?
That's a tough one. I don't remember Dahmer being that kind of drug user. He was pills and booze, not needles. I'm going to go Diddy.
Diddy. You are wrong. It is actually Jeffrey Dahmer. How he got the poison and the drugs into the person's system if they weren't drinking was to stab them with the needle. The ornamental driftwood, I'm sure, was a gift from somebody in the building. He just put it to the side. It probably smelled like human bodies that were getting cooked. All right, number 4.
HBIC 3 for 3, by the way.
Number 3. Set fire to someone's vehicle by slicing open its convertible top and dropping a Molotov cocktail in there after he learned that the man was romantically interested in someone he liked. Who was that? Diddy or Dahmer?
That was Diddy, and I think that's Kid Cudi. That's the guy.
Yeah. Yes. What's just insane behavior. Congratulations. You really pushed it right over the top.
That's a wild shit right there.
Next one. I have them all 3, 4, 5. Number 5. Kidnapping someone at gunpoint a few days before Christmas in order to facilitate a break-in at another person's home. Is that Diddy or Dahmer?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one. I'm going to go Diddy. I think Dahmer's crimes were a little less premeditated than that.
You are correct. That was Sean Diddy Combs, which is just another game. It's just crazy. Okay. The next one. There's only 3 more. Music found includes Def Leppard's smash hit album, Hysteria. Was that Diddy or Dahmer?
Man, I didn't know Dahmer had that kind of taste. I'm going Dahmer. That's got to be. It's 80s, baby. Let's go, It's one of the last albums he probably heard.
He had Motley Crue and Def Leppard, so it makes you wonder what the hell Ken W.O. is doing at his house right now. So let's just keep an eye on him. Next up, they found drugs, baby oil, lubricants, and extra linen. Is that Diddy or Dahmer?
Extra linen. I like a nice touch. That's going to be Diddy, my friend.
That was actually Jeffrey Dahmer. He had the drugs, the baby oil, and lubricants also. So that is the trend between serial killers and sex traffickers like Sean Diddy. Last one. A room filled with sex toys, bondage gear, hidden cameras, and lingerie. Is that Diddy or Dahmer?
The hidden cameras make me think it's Diddy because allegedly all of this stuff is videoed and that people are like, if Diddy goes down, other motherfuckers are going down with him. And so, the video cameras is key. So I'll say Diddy.
Yeah, you are correct. That was Diddy. And ladies and gentlemen, that was our first and probably only version of Diddy or Dahmer.
I can't believe how well that went. I can't believe how close they are.
It's very close in some of the things, and it's like, this is kind of terrifying. So, yeah.
All right. Let's close out this talk about Diddy. I asked you to make a list. I made a list separately.
Yes.
And the lists we're making here, and I think the way to do this, MSS, is we don't go, like, one of us isn't giving their whole list. Okay. We'll go one and one and one and one.
Yeah. And
I probably have more than 10, so we can
have
just
more than 10 too, just in case we doubled up. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We can go a little bit. That sounds good. Yeah. Our list is the 10 people that we will be, I don't want to say heartbroken, but we'll be sad to see come out as participants in the freak-offs. All right, these are people we do not want to see on the list when they start putting a video camera out there and saying, "Oh, this person was in the freak-off," or there's an illicit video of this person having sex." We do not want them to be part of it. So I think we go one and one and back and forth until we complete this. My sex number, would you go first, please?
Yes. Number one, I included her because I'm like, listen, the country doesn't need this right now. It's already a fucking mess. We don't need one more person going down. And I'm glad I don't want Diddy doing it. It's Kamala Harris. I don't need the woman who's currently running for president to be caught up in one of his freak parties and is like doing something to some underage dude. I don't know. They said she slept her way to the top. She's probably a lot of these parties and did some shit in the Hamptons. Who knows? I just hope she's not there because God damn it, we need a candidate that is not done underage sex. So let's just keep. I'm hoping she's not on the list.
That's a good call because I assume the Clintons were all up in that. So I assume that. So they're not going to be cleaning this. That's very thoughtful of you, MSS. Just looking out for the country. As you want at least you want some candidates clean, and so it's that's totally reasonable. Jackie Treehorn puts in the comments, Cosby. I was going to ask you this, MSS. I thought, maybe we won't talk about this, but who do you feel safer around if you haven't been watching your drink the entire time? You feel safer around Bill Cosby or Diddy? Who are you personally feeling safer around? Because I was thinking about it a little bit,
I don't feel safe if my drink is being around, but also the level of crimes from Diddy to Cosby. I mean, Cosby did a lot of rape, okay, and I get that.
He did,
it wasn't as good, but he never cut open somebody's car and shoved a Molotov cocktail in there.
No, but he would hit your drink, baby.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel safe with either one of them. I probably feel more safe that Diddy's probably not going to try to rape me. That's probably the thing, but he might try to kill me. He might try to kill me.
I'm the opposite. I'd feel more safer on Cosby. Maybe people think I'm a Cosby truther. A couple in the comments.
Jackass Treehorn, yes. Okay, for some reason I say Dahmer. Okay, it's Dahmer, and I know it's not. There's no L in there. It's Dahmer. All right, I get it. Okay, I'm sorry. I fucked it up. It's been something that's in my head. Okay, sorry.
Let's hit a couple from the comments before I get to mine because. Please, if you guys got
you see
some,
what he said about
you guys got some, I'll get to that.
Jackie Treehorn says Jim Jones would make me feel more comfortable. That's something.
That's fair. That's actually fair. People, they
love it.
The comments they don't want to see come up on the list. Joey B says Jerry Reinsdorf. HBIC says Carrot Top. Baloney says Tim Anderson.
Oh my God!
Jerry O'Sullivan, number one on the list. Treasy's not. He's not into. Well, I don't think he's into.
I don't think he is. But also, if you're into that, you're not telling people you're into it. So
it's something you keep quiet. All right,
but
number
he's
one
also
on my
not
list.
gone for long stretches of time. So
MSS number one on my list.
Yes, who's your number one?
They talked about the male prostitutes, and I don't. For me, I can't have this guy end up showing up in this. Ramon from Bang Bros.
Oh man!
If Ramon from Bang Bros ends up in the video, I'm gonna be that's not good, man. I can't,
Man,
right? I mean, it's possible, isn't it? Adult performer could definitely be in there, some sort,
God damn!
You said male prostitutes?
Yeah.
I mean, the adult performers could be male prostitutes, and they generally
he retired, kind of though. Like he's
he needs money though, man. I know if the Santeria needs to be funded, I don't know what the hell, man. The guy's off doing some shit. So
no, I get it. I get it. I can understand that.
All right, you're up next.
Number two?
Else do I want to see on the list?
So he's associated with Puff Daddy. He used to be on Bad Boy Records. He found mainstream recognition as his hype man. He guest appeared on the Can't Nobody Hold Me Down. And of course, I'm talking about Mace, and that's M-A-S-E. Mace like was a big rapper, right? And then he got his shit together. He is a reverend. He has found God. He hasn't like said, I don't
He's got a podcast. He's got a pretty famous podcast now, MSS with Cameron.
Does he?
It Is What It Is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And so he was dressed up the other day after Diddy got arrested. He had an orange tie on. He was like, I just got orange for no reason. Like,
what does the orange mean?
Like jumpsuit. That's a jumpsuit color.
Oh,
orange.
shit.
So
I didn't get. I was like, is that victims' rights or something?
No,
or what is that? Okay, so cool. Like, all right, so yeah, all right. So fucking A. I hope Mace is not involved in any of that. Seems like he's not. I don't think he would make fun of something that he's involved in. But the last thing I needed to see was like little Mace in the back corner, coming running in. I didn't need to see that. The man seems like he got his shit together. So yeah, no. My
Hopefully
number
he
2,
didn't get caught up in
Mace.
that. I agree. No, it's a good one. Mace is a really good one.
Who's your number 2, big fella?
Man, my number 2, and the time might not line up because I know he's passed away now, but he was a big star at one point, and Diddy had come of age by then, and that's James Avery, who you might not know that name, but that's Uncle Phil from The Fresh Prince.
Oh, shit.
Okay? I cannot have Aunt Viv seeing no video of Uncle Phil being in there. And Uncle Phil, I think Uncle Phil maybe, I don't know, he might have been catching. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. So I can't. It will break my heart if Diddy got him caught up in some bullshit. I cannot have that, man. I need Uncle Phil, all right?
Man, that's a good call. His poor uncle. Uncle Phil's dead, right?
He's dead now, yeah.
Yeah, he's
passed away, yeah.
Well, at least he won't have to serve any time.
Allegedly. All right, who's up next on your list?
Number 3, and they're friends, and there's pictures of them together. And it would kill an already like kind of like limping hip hop community. You lost Tupac, you lost Biggie, you lost R. Kelly. Now you're losing P. Diddy. God help us, we cannot lose LL Cool J. Okay, you can't have another extremely famous like black rapper just go down like that. Like, people that were just like, this guy is an icon. He isn't. Look at what he has done. Look at this. And like, oh shit, he likes getting scatted on, and he's involved with fucking P. Diddy. Like, we can't have that.
Okay, this is a good one because you've heard the rumors, right?
Yeah,
you heard the Eddie Murphy rumors. There's some similar rumors with LL. So this one is a little. Yep. This flies a little too close to like. That might have happened. I don't know. I don't want to see that. I'm with you, man.
As the hip hop community cannot handle it. They cannot handle another guy going down. None of the big wigs go down. We have to make big, enormous black stars not so freaky deaky. Okay, we need them to be like this normal, regularly
right down the middle, baby.
I'm not even gonna say it because they'll get in trouble, so I'm not gonna say it. What's your third pick?
Mrs. Beef says ladies love Cool James. Yeah,
yeah, they do.
That's a standing. Well, and other things too.
Lady boys too, maybe.
Allegedly. Paul says protect Hezbollah at all costs. It's a good call. Was not on my list, but I'm glad you brought that up. Number 3 for me, also deceased. Okay, but fairly recently deceased, and she was a bit of a sex symbol even into her later years, and that's Betty White. If Betty White ends up anywhere, even
around
on the periphery, periphery, that would just break my goddamn heart. I would have to stop being on the internet. There's no way I could do it.
Yeah, you can't do that. No, that'd be shitty. Yeah,
Jerry O'Sullivan says, R.I.P. Barry Wood. Please don't be on the list. The bobble dick, please don't.
I don't think
he's built for the list, though. Yes.
So if you're throwing this, and he did hire male prostitutes.
Yes, sir.
So I'm assuming one of the things for a male prostitute is they have a huge dick, right? Like there has to be like you don't see a lot of not well hung man in porno. I would think the same thing would be like a woman doesn't order a prostitute and like you or I show up, right? Like that just isn't like that's not really what happens, right? That's hopefully that's not her fantasy. Like, hey, I hope some guy
this is really what I want
who's got a trick hip and doesn't breathe so well out of his nose is gonna come in this.
I'd like the guy to show up that had one real smelly armpit when he was at the park walking around.
He smelled like a
Polish sausage. His right armpit smells like a Polish sausage. Please, can I hire that up? What does that cost?
He took me back to the ballpark. You smell like grilled onions and a Polish sausage. And then he fucked me for 5.5 minutes. And it was the best time ever. Well worth the $250 I spent on that, man. I mean, Jesus Christ. So yeah, they're just not. Yeah, that's probably not it.
Beautiful.
All right, am I the next one?
Yes, you are. You're up. Number 4.
All right, so here's where the MSS head went to after the first few people. I'm like, I could just keep making up weird things like I don't want to see fucking Nelson Mandela like in the video, right? Yeah. Like that would be goofy because Nelson probably would not hang out. So I was like, I need to go with people who have actually hung out with Diddy at his famous white parties up in the Hamptons, and then he would I think he did some parties down in Miami too. So like he would host these parties. So there's pictures of these people with them, and I'm assuming they're all going to be used by whatever side he gets dealt on, right? Like they'll be like, oh, look at this. This totally shows that so and so did this. So number 1. Person I don't want to get involved, and is the most awkward looking picture of P. Diddy, Jennifer Lopez, and Howard Stern and his wife. Like Howard Stern, whitest looking motherfucker ever, with a big like white shirt, and just like looking all goofy as fuck, and he's tall as hell and skinny. So like
that's a
Ichabod Crane, right? Like that's what he is with the wig. And so I just hope that Howard Stern is not get involved in the freaky shit. So like, I don't need that. So
that's a bad visual. That's just a bad visual. And I'm not. I know you're a Stern fan, but I don't want to. Even if it's just I saw the random video. I don't want to see that. I'm just not interested.
I don't need to see his small penis going in and out of some woman. I don't need it, or man. I don't need either one.
Rich Bissett says, hopefully not Dennis Rodman. See, the thing is, Rodman doesn't need it, though, man. He's got his own thing going, so he doesn't need to be at one of these parties.
Who do you got?
My next one, he's a friend of the podcast, and, God, if he were to go down in the Diddy parties, I would be upset that Jeff Passan was in there. We cannot have Jeff. Jeff's the short guy, and look how he looks. He's very noticeable, especially if he has that hoodie on. That's real bad for the man. Boy, we'll never survive that.
That's true.
It's gonna be over.
It would really hurt our brand. I showed my dad that video today, and he goes, "Hey, did he fucking tell people where they can get that shirt?" And I go, "No." He goes, "Shockingly, the guy doesn't do commercials for us on the Dan Patrick show." So
would have been nice
that he wore it. It was pretty cool. It's one of the coolest things that I've seen. It was cool that we did on the Dan Le Batard show too, right? I think that was cool. But this one was even bigger because it's like, okay, one person away from Adam Sandler has seen my shirt. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
All right,
next up.
Oh, dude, if these two, and they're good friends, they're both good friends. They're definitely at the white parties, but also like just good friends with them. Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore. If they're in those videos, I can't handle it. Like Demi Moore, after the Brat documentary that she participated in and was talking about like all the 80s shit, the 80s movie stuff and how dumb it was and blah, blah, blah. And like her drug problems and overcoming that and becoming who she is and a mom and all this shit. Dude, if she's like in there doing dirty shit and ditties with a bunch of lubricants, I'm out. Diddy, dildos, and Demi, I'm out. Can't do it.
That's too much. Oh,
too many D's.
But it feels like could be. See, that's where you put it in a spot where I'm like, that might be.
They got a lot of money.
Yeah, there's no question. John Carney says,
I'm gonna fuck you money.
John Carney says Martha Stewart is definitely on that list. Total freak. Quick question for you, MSS. Martha Stewart, would you?
Yes, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
You know why? Because
I want to make sure you're being honest there.
She made me an incredible club sandwich after we got done. Like she would just be. She's like, I raised the tomatoes in my garden, and they were properly picked at their right exact time at the most delicious tomato. And I was like, yes. She's like, this lettuce is hand procured by my friend, in Bolivia. It's delicious. Like I can't wait.
All right, this is my number 5, and he's one of my favorite artists, and I don't think he is because he's been making fun of the situation solidly way before any of the the arrests or anything. But that's 50 Cent. And I was thinking back about it. MSS.
I don't think he's there.
I don't think he is. But I wonder if Fitty got fat on purpose so that Diddy would avoid him and stay away from him. I was thinking about it. I was like, remember I'm making fun of him? He's fat at the Super Bowl and he's coming down. He's floating down. He's so fat. And I'm like, how did Fitty get so fat? But he's protecting himself, maybe, okay?
He's like,
maybe he's protecting himself, okay?
Hey, should we call Curtis? Man, fuck Curtis. That motherfucker's like 2.5 pounds.
Look how fat he got
right now. He's so fat. Dude, I don't want to see that shit. Get the fuck. Curtis cannot come. No, Curtis, you can't come. Oh my God.
50 Cents would never, not my king. And Jerry O'Sullivan says, did you ever find out the guy was wearing the 108 hat during the Jimmy Kimmel show?
Absolutely not.
And we've tweeted it out there, but nothing's come back.
No, one guy goes, hey, it's me wearing that hat. And I didn't really read too much into it. It was just some random dude saying, that's me, I want free shit. But he never DM'd either. So he was like, that MSS is so stupid. I'm not even going to fucking make it bad.
Baloney says, Aaron Neville, now Martha Stewart. MSS is a poor man's Frank Caliendo. The Aaron Neville was too good, and we should go back and clip it and just like, that should be a sound drop in here for our StreamYard.
Maybe you'll get it later after I have a couple more wild turkeys.
John Carney says tea sandwiches and tea bagging. Yes. Oh, Martha.
I definitely would teabag Martha Stewart. I mean, that's kind of the question.
MSS, you're up next, buddy.
Next. Okay, now again, this is somebody that has been associated with them, has been at the party. Man, I won't be able to handle it if Aretha Franklin is in one of these videos. Okay? She is like at several.
Queen of Soul Food, baby. Yes.
Several of these parties. I don't want to see her naked, but I also don't want it. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing her like
I would see her naked.
At least get dick down by like a professional stud. Like that would be good.
Just in a regular setting. No, you know what?
Maybe I am okay. As long as she's not on like ketamine or some kind of fucking drug.
You know what? My mind went where your mind went, MSS.
Around her, unless she
if
wanted
this was
it,
was a solo setup where she can dig down and it seems pleasant. Not a big group. This isn't an arena of intimate setting. I'm interested. I would check it out.
I don't want her in the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. I'm okay with it. I'm good.
That's correct.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
That's absolutely correct.
Who do you got next?
Next stuff for me is a personal hero who's been going through some stuff. A lot of people think he's gone insane. Michael Jordan's son was dating his ex-wife.
Oh, Lord.
That is Scottie Pippen.
God.
Pip, you've been going down a bad path. I do not need to see you in this. That's true. Okay, please do not be in this. Okay,
don't be in that, Pip.
Please, all right. For me, I don't even care about you anymore. For me, please don't do it.
Man, think if Jordan's kid starts that rumor. That would be horrible. the coke sniffing son of a rich guy, sniffing coke in France. Starting rumors about Scottie Pippen being involved in the P. Diddy videos. Pippen and P. Diddy. Pity.
I mean, I heard Pippen's got he's.
I'm sure he does. He got big nose, big schlong. That's what I always.
Allegedly. Jerry O'Sullivan says Whoopi Goldberg definitely at the party. I don't know. She dated Ted Danson, so I mean, she's whatever.
No.
And then Baloney says Pippen nose deep in baby oil. Can we not do that? I don't need that. I agree
Lordy.
I agree with Rich. No, not 33. We can't have 33 mixed up in that. So
I don't even use the 33 locker anymore at the gym. I'm so I'm so
You're so disappointed.
Dude. I can't do it.
You're just falling off, bro.
I was doing 35 for a while, and then because it's Frank Thomas, I would throw my weight ball in there, and I broke the bottom of the locker. So it was like
you destroyed Frank.
Man,
that's why Frank has you. Does Frank have you blocked too?
Yeah, he still got
he blocked you for breaking that locker. That's what it is. And you want to use 33 because Pippen's lacking, is what you're saying.
Right, a little bit. But you know what? I think if Frank Thomas knew that I was such good friends with Mark Aguirre, I think he would become friends with me again. So I need to start pushing that out there at Frank. Maybe that's an off-season goal. Get back into the races. Right. All right, next one. This is a hard one, kind of, but not. It's actually, no, I'm gonna go with this one. Reverend Al Sharpton. Listen, we lost Jesse Jackson. He's no longer like out in front of the public anymore. We still need one guy to come out and tell white people how they've done something wrong and make him get apologized to. Reverend Al Sharpton is that guy. He cannot go and do that if he has been involved in the Diddy party. So we need Reverend Al Sharpton to be not there.
Can I make this comment about the Reverend? So look, I would have been okay with Al Sharpton 200 pounds ago if he was in there throwing down. But now, have you seen him lately?
Yeah,
he built like a lollipop, man. Mm-hmm. He's real skinny, but he still has that fucking ginormous ass head.
Pompadour.
And he looks and the end, exactly. And the hair makes it even look bigger.
Yep.
I don't want to mix it up, but also just like watching him, I don't want to watch that. I
don't want to see it.
That'll make me sick. You know,
I want to see it, and I also don't want him to be like. I just want to be losing all these heroes in the black community. I can't do that.
We can't.
I cannot do that.
This. No, absolutely.
Who do you got next?
Quick comment. Jackie Trion says, next topic, who we want to see.
Well, I have two. I have two that we can throw in there.
Well, let me do this next one.
Yeah.
Then we'll speed round what we have left.
Okay.
And then you can do your two that you do want to see. I'm interested to hear
potentially.
those. Okay.
Potential. Yeah.
So I'll get my last one before we go speed round. And he's a comedian. He's an actor. He was great in Chappelle's show as a guest. And it's just America's sweetheart. If Wayne Brady is in there freaking MSS, if Wayne Brady is getting down, we got problems as a society. We can't. It's untenable if he's in there.
I thought initially you were gonna go with another dead guy, Charlie Murphy, and I was like, no. Damn it, you might be onto something. Charlie Murphy might have been up in there.
Charlie will whoop Diddy's ass. Maybe. They said Charlie had cancer. Maybe he whooped Diddy's ass and his henchman shot him or something like that. That's the real way Charlie died. Like
he deaded him and he's gone.
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah, but fuck, man, Wayne Brady, man, that would be bad. I mean, the guy is good looking, like, and he probably does a good job. But like, I don't want him to be involved in that.
No,
that would be bad. Yeah.
All right, let's go speed round. Let's dump the rest of your ones. So. Yeah,
here's a guy that like he's friends with him too, and also like has a lot of allegations against him also, and this would just seal his fate, and that's Jared Leto. Jared Leto was probably involved in this, and he's probably sweating his balls off right now. He's like, I don't want to be on the Diddy tapes. Yeah. LeBron James, who unfollowed him immediately upon all the stuff that was happening. He is no longer on his Instagram and whatever he said, and he's come out and said, this is gross. I can't be involved. You know, I can't support this.
That would hurt me because LeBron is a family man for all intents and purposes.
He is. And
we knew MJ was out there banging everything, but LeBron does not put up that front that he's doing that shit.
The worst thing LeBron James has done, other than the tricking all the people of Cleveland on live television, that was a dick move.
That was a dick
move. The next worst thing was like getting his son, like pulling some fucking strings and getting his son on his team. Like, I can't hate a guy for doing something like that. Like, it's just,
right.
That's not a bad thing. Okay, there's a lot of CEOs that their dads pulled strings. Okay,
there's no question. Almost all of them.
Basically, his dad pulled strings. I mean, Jesus Christ. Patrick Mahomes. He was also friends with Diddy, but he pulled all that back. I mean, Patrick Mahomes does not need that, especially after his wife in the Taylor Swift and the Trump and all that. Oh, woo. A lot of stuff going on. Those are the only other three that I had. Who do you got that are the other three left?
Okay, I got a few more than three, so I've got. I'll just run through them quickly. I've got Dolly Parton, SpongeBob SquarePants, Dr. Drew, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Nina Hartley, Harambe, and I think this one's too young because done in July. Moodang. I hope Moodang, but Moodang was probably born late enough where not possibly in there.
Probably
Harambe could have been in there. That might have been why Harambe really got shot. We don't exactly know.
He was going to start talking, and they had to kill him.
Exactly. Got clipped because of that. Emma says, who are your two that you want to be in there?
Two that I would not mind seeing as long as they're willing participants, and then they knew they were being taped and all that kind of stuff. Number one, sex tape veteran, Kim Kardashian. If she's up there getting pounded by a professional stud with good multiple camera angles, I would be in for that. Take that as long as it's consensual, and she was agreeing to it. Last one, Little Kim. If if it was back in the day, especially Little Kim, oh Christ Almighty! Did the MSS have a little something for her because she was cute.
Good call.
She could rap, and she was just, I mean,
she was everything tough about too. Her. I liked it. Yeah.
Dude. You know? No one would fuck with me. Like, I'm 6'4", 2 whatever. I would like no one would even fuck with me. They'd be like, look, that's just fucking Little Kim with him. Like, he's taking care of that. Fuck, we leave him alone. He will fucking kill us just because of that. And I'd be like, oh, thank goodness they think I fight. You know, so it'd be good. But yeah, so those two.
That's great. Mr. Beef says R.I.P. Harambe, and Joey P says Junior Mafia. Yes,
Junior Mafia,
absolutely. Before I ask you to sell some cars. Just a reminder, everyone, if you buy our brand new shirt, our history shirt, during the show, one person who buys it during the show is going to get for free, possibly two. MSS and I are thinking maybe two.
I think we should do two because there has been some sales. So, hey, let's watch this, and then we'll talk about some cars.
The 2024 Chicago White Sox have made history on the South Side. And to celebrate their accomplishments, From the 108 has created this t-shirt. Crafted with premium cotton and printed right here in Chicago, this shirt will show everyone that you witness history. The back will feature all the records set and broken in 2024. Secure your size by ordering one today.
Go to 108.ing/merch. 108.ing/merch. Order one today. Small to 6XL, same size or same price. So get over there right now, and you might get it for free.
I can tell you all the reasons why Mazda of Orland Park is the best place to buy your next car, but why not let an actual customer tell you about their experience? 10 stars. Showroom was immaculate. No hard sell tactics. No hurried sales pitch. Very positive experience. Eric and John were professional, courteous, knowledgeable, and have outstanding customer service skills. Highly recommend this dealership. Want more? Here you go. Excellent customer service from the moment I stepped out of my car and up to the waiting room. Car was serviced and washed in half the time promised. Would highly recommend that Mazda owners consider going to Mazda of Orland Park for their next maintenance check and service. Mazda of Orland Park, home of the Zoom Zoom Nation. 8910 West 159th Street, Orland Park. 708-444-3200. Zoom Zoom.
It is time for White Sox talk. I know not everyone's been coming here for this, but today we actually have a bunch of things to talk about for the White Sox. Pretty much none of it on the field. So where I want to start is the White Sox had a little investor cruise. They had investors and legislators cruise on down the Chicago River, go over to the 78, which is just off of Roosevelt Road. They had a makeshift field there. Roger Bossard set it up. They had Hall of Famer Harold Baines. They also had Ozzie Guillen, Bo Jackson, Ron Kittle as part of the entourage go down there. My Sox Summer, your thoughts on the 78?
Well, there's been a lot of people that have come out and talked about it, namely two talking heads, Chuck and Ozzie, and they were talking about how great it was and blah, blah, blah. I would love to give my opinion on it, but I was not invited, and neither were you, and neither was anybody else. So, listen, pay to play, motherfuckers. This is if you want me to talk good about your project, you want me to sell your project to somebody, you fucking have to say, hey, My Sox Summer, we value you as a fan and as a person that spends a lot of money and then also has a somewhat popular show. Come out and take a look at this and tell people what it would be like. And I will be like, yeah, sure. I will definitely give my unbiased but totally biased opinion on it, especially if you give me a free shrimp cocktail and I get a fucking at least 3 autographs from Bo Jackson, who said he would never sign autographs for me. So I would appreciate that. What are your thoughts, Loaf?
MSS, what I thought is a bunch of people that do what we do, we're doing a total victory. That, man, the legislators held tight. Mm-hmm. They were unimpressed by this. They're not going to do anything, which is absolutely entirely total bullshit. What's going on right now is they're seeing all the presentations whatever, and then they're figuring out, okay, where does this kickback come in? Where are my terms lined up?
Right.
How can I get my shell company in place? How much points do I have on this thing? How can I get my cousin's fencing company, the contract in there? Yep. How can I get an outsized donation from anonymous people that you're friends with for my campaign? Mm-hmm. Once all that stuff gets smoothed out, then will be the time that the legislators will suddenly turn and be like, we think this is great. They made a great pitch of the economic development that can happen right here once everyone has gotten their little piece of the pie. And so it may not happen. I don't know if it actually happens, but we're not going to know it's not actually happening until they re-sign a lease over here on 35th Street or they get some other ballpark location.
Yep.
Or we'll know it's happening when shovels are in the ground and they're like, yeah, we're fucking doing it. And so
I don't even trust it then, to be honest, because they apparently did that for the Discovery Center right next to it, and they're like, that ain't there. Nothing happened. Loaf, one question, and this is my opinion because I was not paid to say this, but everyone keeps showing the view, and they're like, where the field is, and they're like, look at this, right?
Yes.
Are we not putting any bleachers out there or a scoreboard or
I think anything? The plan, MSS, truthfully, I think the plan is to dig down.
Yeah.
And to put the field lower and so that you would still get that view. But yeah, it is hilarious to look at it. It's like, well, there's nothing there. It's just a field. Of course you have this view right there.
Right now, it looks like a fucking softball stadium. And you're just like, this is awesome. And
that's
you know
what they should do. Put the 16-inch softball events there. Let's do that.
Slim Nick is like, fuck yes. His dick just hit the bottom of his workstation. No, they now in Cincinnati and Kansas City, 2 spots that we've already been to for 108 and road trips. Their outfield is very minimal. They don't have like the big stuff, so you could probably do that and still see all the buildings and shit. So I mean, it's possible, but like we know Jerry ain't putting out like, oh yeah, let's put like 3,000 people in the outfield. He's like, I need to get 13,000 people out there and 22 behind home and blah blah blah. You know, like that's what he's gonna do because I mean, like a leopard doesn't change your spots. Okay, this just doesn't happen.
Treasy puts in the comments, place don't look like there's room for a stadium. That was funny because Treasy mentioned that to John Greenberg when we saw him last week. And John Greenberg agreed. He was like, yeah, it looks way too small to put a stadium in there. Kind of wondering how they're going to manage to do all that. So,
well, at least they have water access, Loaf. You don't have to worry about people driving their cars.
Exactly.
And all the new routes that already exist on public transportation. So that's all anybody will take. So we don't have to worry about parking lots or cars.
Everyone's going to take the freight over the water to this. Yeah, everyone does water taxis everywhere in Chicago. That's what we all do.
Your goddamn helicopter. Just go over there and they'll just parachute in like an Elvi. No big deal.
Absolutely fine. Let's get this drink from Joey P. Joey P says,
yo,
you can start a GoFundMe. I'll keep sending my monies to you. Thanks, Joey. Appreciate it. This is a true GoFundMe. This goes to a good cause, like buying us more booze.
So. Yeah. 108.ing/merch. Get a free shirt. You might get a free shirt.
Get a free shirt.
Where's the risk? You're going to buy the shirt anyway. Might as well get one free.
If you buy one, you take a chance.
Taking a chance.
All right. So that's enough on the 78. Next one is actually an article from our guy, Jeff Pass. Jeff came into town. He didn't come and visit us, which was upsetting. I reached out to him, MSS. I said, Jeff, you didn't come out and see us? And I asked him a couple questions about the article. And then he sent me this DM back. We were talking back and forth. He sent me this DM and he said, I did hear you got to hang with Sam Anderson, though. In fact, ESPN obtained video of you looking like an asshole. And there's a picture of me.
Good.
That must be after the victory, man. Look how fast you are looking at. I got my teeth gritted. I got the shirt over my shoulder and the bandana, man. Like, I can't believe Jeff's got that in his phone right now. He's just
look like a Mexican Hulk Hogan in that picture, honestly, with the bandana. Yeah, listen, you could be I don't know what's an M name for Mijo Hogan, right there.
Absolutely. What do you mean keep that picture up? That was after. Man, that is correct. That was after the Benintendi home run. We were going nuts at the end. That was the walk-off. And people are yelling at us, did you catch the ball? The goddamn ball hit the foul pole. What were we going to catch?
In the field, like when I first saw that and I was hungover, I was like, man, why didn't we try to catch? I'm like, that fucker didn't even come
get
up
to us. I got in position. I was in position to try to. The Sheets one, you and I both leaned over and tried to get what we didn't get. Couldn't reach it.
They're like, oh, you should jump over there. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a really great idea after I drank half a bottle of some bourbon from Austin that was delicious that Baloney let me have. It was awesome. Bulk Hogan. That's good.
Treasy says Bulk Hogan. Yeah, you got a lot of nerve, Treasy. All right? You're looking a little husky yourself. All right.
We got another shirt in there. Come on, keep it coming. 108.ing/merch. Let's sell more shirts than Treasy's ever sold in his life for this thing, and let's do it right now on the program. So,
if you're in the YouTube comments, I had put the link out there, so you can search through. It's in there a couple times.
Yeah.
But as far as the article went, Jeff went a different direction. He got into the guts, the underbowel of the team. He went into the locker room. He was learning about how the guys are doing and, picking up little factoids or whatever. And one of the things that struck me, MSS, that I was interested in, I'll pull up the comment right now, and I'll read this. It'll take a little bit for those of you watching. When owner Jerry Reinsdorf promoted Getz to GM after firing longtime executive vice president Kenny Williams and GM Rick Hahn last August, Getz hired an array of outsiders, an unfamiliar approach for an organization that was as insular as any at the behest of Reinsdorf, whose loyalty to employees has been a hallmark as well as a detriment. Brian Bannister, Getz's former teammate in KC and longtime pitching guru, took control of the system's arms. Josh Barfield and Paul Janisch, both former big leaguers, are central in player acquisition and player development roles. And Brian Mahler, a former Harvard lacrosse player who went on to become a Marine and Navy SEAL before earning a law degree from Georgetown, joined the White Sox as Director of Leadership, Culture, and Continuing Education. Mahler, who came in the organization having never worked in baseball, is at the heart of the overhaul of the Chicago's front office. And a committee headed by Mahler is expected to recommend a suite of changes for the organization to institute in the coming years. It's a multi-year project with a focus, sources said, on optimizing resources, scaling processes, and connecting departments. And Reinsdorf, who's 88, is backing it after years of wanting to win now. MSS, what do you think of this different approach and this outsider, basically, a non-baseballer coming into the fold? What do you think?
So I want to know when he was actually hired. Does it sound like he was hired at the beginning of the year? Like when Getz was in, they brought him in to like start evaluating immediately, or did they just bring him on board? See, like, I don't know. I've never heard this guy. And so like, here's the brutalized Sox fan in me going, okay, you've had the shittiest season known to baseball ever. Okay. And you have to put some type of a spin on it. So now are you accepting this because you've been smacked in the face and like with how bad you are, like your armpit smelling like a Polish sausage? Like, are you smacked in it? You're like, I have to do something outlandish and crazy, and I have to do something new to like put out there so that people are like, okay, they're actually doing something really different right now, because this is like, I don't even understand it. Like, I get it kind of, but like, he's got a pedigree and like, oh, he was a Navy SEAL, blah, blah, blah. What does that mean? What does that translate to baseball exactly? Like, and like, what does he know about a winning program? And like, it's kind of like, and I hate to say this, and I hate to put this out there, but it's kind of like Trump with the, we should get some of the NASCAR, because he's in NASCAR country, so he's like pandering to NASCAR people. He's like, I think some of these team owners should be like our generals instead of people that are in the Army. Why? Well, they're used to winning. Well, what do you mean? They know how to spend money and build race cars and get the right people in there to build the race car and drive the race car. They have no idea how to fucking attack Fallujah, like, or do any of these things. Like, they don't know that. Just like this guy, I mean, maybe he's going to institute some stuff. Maybe there's a lack of administrative control. So he's going to explain, like, this is how you lead. Right. This is how you do this. And I understand that, and that's fine. But then he's got continuing education. So what? Does he hold office hours? And so, like, Jose Abreu might have walked in there and said, hey, I'm thinking about going back to college, getting my master's, or, hey, I got to get my MBA. I'm going to get my MBA and start doing taxes. Like, what is this guy going to do, Loaf? Like, did you talk to anybody about this?
So sure enough, I did talk to somebody. I went right back to the source. I DM'd our guy, Jeff Passan.
Well, it's nice to have those friends.
About it. It's nice to have those friends. Hey, you wrote this. What do you think about this? Because instantly I had some of the same thoughts you had, MSS, where I kind of, to me, this is what it initially sounded like to me. It sounded like this could be a good idea because the White Sox do need some structure. They need some direction. They're coming from a situation that was very dysfunctional. However, it feels like one of these things that Getz will have to manage closely to thread the needle to get this all to work. So when I asked Jeff, I DM'd him. I said, thing is, the Sox are so screwed up that something like this seems needed. But these guru types sometimes can worm their way up the hierarchy, and sometimes they implement weird things. And I brought up that Jack Esterby from the Houston Texans that we were talking about in the DMs with me, you, and Treasy. Is just like, he got in there at some lower level and then shot all the way up. And by the time he got to the top, all the star players were like, they do not trust this guy. They don't like all the things he's doing. And so, like, there's probably a limited utility to a guy in this role fixing some stuff as long as he doesn't end up with too much power. And so basically what Jeff told me was like, the skepticism is warranted. But he said, real leaders with leadership skills are pretty rare. And if you do happen to nail one of those guys, that could be super valuable. And so I heed that warning because I think, to me, it's a positive in that they're trying something different, for one. Yes. Two, it does have upside in a situation where it didn't seem like the processes were linked up properly. It seemed like there was a lot of people obfuscating other people's shit, not everyone following the same paths as other, kind of the leadership kind of was a little stinky and not kind of like pushing everything all the way down. And so that stuff all made sense to me. And then I also happened to see a friend of the podcast, Jim Margulis, tweet out, maybe what they're doing with this guy is just like kind of a caddy for Reinsdorf, someone to talk Reinsdorf into more things that they want to do, and someone who maybe can hold some cachet and do it. And I thought it was interesting because I think of Getz as a guy who seems like he has the ability to talk Jerry into some stuff. But at some point you wear out your welcome of talking people into things, right? Like, if you need to get a lot of shit done, you need it coming from other places. You need a group of people saying, yes, this is the changes we need, and to kind of reinforce that. And so I wonder how much of it is just is one saying, look, we have a lot of fucked up things in here. Can you help us fix process? Fine. Two, just be a voice that stands behind us. And so I'm interested to see how it plays out, but it's a super weird thing, not something I was used to, and I was surprised to see it in the article. And people who are following the sex all the time are like, who the fuck is this guy? No one had ever heard of him, you know?
I have not heard a peep about this dude. Not once. So I just want to know when he was hired. I want to know when he was hired, because that would be nice to know and to see if it was at the beginning he's been evaluating all year, which would be great because it's been a shitstorm, right? And then, but it isn't, and it's just something that, like, hey, we're just going to throw this on to probably show people that we're trying to change. Then I'm just like, come on.
Well, and you might be right, and it could be just that. It may flame out because they've tried things like this before on a very smaller scale, not such a high level, but they've tried it before, and things kind of end up flaming out. So, I mean, it's very possible. One other thing that struck me in the article that Passon wrote is Davis Martin, and I'll pull up a couple quotes here. You have to have talking about the White Sox losing so much. You have to have a sense of humor, Martin said. You walk that fine line on being on the edge of losing your mind, always on that razor's edge. We're just watching it all, and we're like, oh my gosh, this happens and this happens. Truly, it's so many things. He continues. We've talked about like, oh, we're having a good time. We are. Said Martin, a 27-year-old right-hander, is thankful to be back after he missed last season rehabilitating from Tommy John surgery. Really, these are a great group of guys. And I think if there was any other group of guys in here, it would be the most miserable experience ever. People are like, oh, how are you not losing your mind? And he says, we're just a bunch of young idiots trying to make sure we have a job next year.
Yeah.
And there was something really refreshing about hearing his comments of just like, I think a lot of people, when a team is doing poorly, they like to pin on the, oh, they gave up. They're not trying this. And you kind of realize in the entire article, because he talks to him, he talks to Crochet, he talks to John Cannon, talks to a bunch of guys. You realize they're busting their asses and things are going very badly for them. And they're somehow keeping a positive attitude and working their asses off the next day. And I remember hearing an interview with Tommy Pham right after he got traded. And he said something to the same extent. He said, you wouldn't believe how hard these guys are working in there. You'd think a team doing this poorly, everyone's given up, and no one's given up. They're in there, they're working hard, and they're busting it. So I in a way, these guys who are in there reflect a fan base in some ways because they're like laughing at themselves. They're like, what else can we do? We have humor to lean on, and that is it.
Yep. Two things in that same article. They do the Jonathan Cannon and Crochet back and forth, and they talk about the catch over the wall. On Andrew Vaughn's home run, which should have been a walk-off. Like, it was a win, right? Like, that would have been the win. And they're just like, how the fuck does this guy get 4 feet over the wall? And they didn't say that, but like, and he catches the ball. You're like, that's just like, you have to laugh at that stuff because you can't. Now, this, you mentioned it briefly, and you were like, hey, people are like, these guys have given up. Think about who you're talking about. We're talking about a professional athlete. We're talking about less than 1% of people that have ever played this sport in their fucking entire life that make it to this level. Now, you think you're good at whatever you do for a job, okay? Right. This and they're like, oh yeah, I'm really good at what I do. Okay, think about what you did, and then think about any project you've ever said, I'm going to do this, and then you don't do it because you're fucking lazy. A professional athlete has done it 17 times and then went back and did it again. Like, even Yoan Moncada, who everyone's like, this guy's fucking lazy. He worked his ass off to get where he is, and he probably still does work his ass off. Maybe not as hard as some people want him to, but I bet he probably does. Like, and Eloy, the same thing. But you know what? And for a little bit of defense of those guys too, they're involved in a fucked up situation. In reading the next article that we will talk about, and they're saying, hey, they'll be like, hey, stop swinging at like low fastballs, and then they're like, okay, and then they're like, how? And then there's like, figure it out. Like, so maybe like there's a 50-50 on the rumors that we heard, because as soon as they get released, like, you can say whatever you want about these people, right? Like, Eloy, we got like lambasted by Guffey, and that's fine. Like, and he probably deserved it, but also he has a story too, and he's probably like, hey, listen, I tried to do this, or I was asking for this, and they're like, here's 2 sets of fucking spin ball rates. This is what we think is happening, and this is what somebody else thinks is happening. Can you analyze this? And he's like, bro, I just hit balls. Like, just tell me what I'm supposed to do. Like, show me what I'm supposed to do. Make me get better. So like, I just, it makes you kind of think. The Passan article was so much better of giving a positive, not a positive spin, but telling a different story.
Well, told the story of the actual players in there, and just kind of what they're experiencing, and which is an interesting story when you dig into it, because like they're experiencing the worst season anyone has ever experienced. Anyone, like anyone alive for sure, and then like probably anyone ever. They're experiencing the worst season. And how does that look? What do those people look like when they're experiencing it? I thought, like, as a human interest story, I thought it was really good. And obviously, we're not glazing Jeff for any other reason other than he's great. He's just really good at this stuff, and the story was terrific. And I saw it was funny. I saw some comments like, "Well, you didn't hammer management hard enough." That's not what the story was about, assholes. Like, the story is about the players.
He doesn't need a hammer, because if you read it, he says. With there's so many things that are lacking in this organization. Yes. How backwards everything is. What are you supposed to do? Name specifics? Do we need to say the 17th time that John Sheriffin has pronounced something wrong? Do we need that fucking annotation next to it? No, you just say they're backwards. And if you're a Sox fan, or if you watch this team for more than just this season, you know what fucked up is. We've all talked about it. It's on Twitter. We're seeing it. So like, I'd rather know what these guys are doing. We haven't had a Sox Fest in 4 fucking years. I don't know what these players think at all. Very rarely do they get to talk to anybody. And so that's awesome that this is out there. And he did a great job. So
totally agree. Now let's get to the article that everyone was really talking about on Twitter. And I actually wasn't going to read it because I thought, do I really need to read another Jerry Reinsdorf's a bad owner? And I found it funny.
Porn, you called it. You called it porn, too.
It is. It's Jerry Sucks porn. It's Jerry Sucks porn is what it is. And I saw so many people like, man, finally, the media is hitting Jerry Reinsdorf. And I told somebody, I'm like, Ken Rosenthal has been burying Jerry Reinsdorf for 30 years.
Yeah.
Since that strike, they have been pounding him, and deservedly so. We're gonna knit up this article a little bit. We're gonna talk about some things we think are kind of a little loony. Yeah. But let's put it out there. Jerry Reinsdorf's a bad owner. That's the base case of being a White Sox fan. You all know it. You know it already. You don't need to be told. Owner. Yeah, I mean, at least the last 20-ish years, baby.
Yes.
It's been brutal. Like 15, 20 years, it's been bad.
They said it on 670, they said it on 1000. They're like, 05 changed this organization. In the 05, they bought their own hype, and they thought we are walking on water. We have figured this shit out.
We know what we're doing.
It's me. It's me with online gambling. Like, look at me. Like, I don't know why people complain. I'm winning 2 parlays a weekend. Okay, it's so easy. But no, they bought their own hype and then just pushed it to the next level. And like, it's not good. Like it has landed them where they're at now. Good. They did not know what they were doing.
It's bad. It's bad. So the general thesis of the article, I think we agree with. But there was some stuff in there, some funny stuff, some weird stuff, and some things that were just like, whatever. So MSS, I don't know if you want to start, and we could bounce back and forth on.
Well, you put the Kenny Williams quote there, okay? And I think this is a great way to start because Kenny Williams is all up in this piece, like Diddy all up in the videos, okay? Like, it's just like, why? Why is Kenny Williams even being allowed in there? And he's saying, well, Getz is making all the decisions, and he's saying doing this, and he's all doing this shit. It's like, what the fuck are you angling for here, Kenny? You want back in? We know you want back in, but you're done. Please stay away. But he says, ask about La Russa's nearly 2 seasons as manager. Williams says, I don't yet have a way to talk about that period of time because it takes me to a bad place, and it will take me from the person I aspire to be.
That was hilarious in my opinion because you know what's funny about that, MSS, is because he could have come out and said, oh, whatever, and glossed over it. He could have went in the direction of, well, I wasn't a big fan or whatever. He was so mad about it. He's like, I don't want to be a bad person and say how many. And like, we should know this, even though it is a little surprising to see it, because you saw Rick Hahn's face. You saw Hahn's face when they announced it. He couldn't have been madder. All the Chicago accent came out of Hahn when after that was announced. Remember that? And I was like, we were like, bro, Han is letting the Chicago accent out, man. He lives in the burbs, bro. He lives in
Yeah,
New Trier, and he was letting it was like he was a South Sider. He was letting that shit fly. I was like, man, he's pissed. Like you can tell the guy's pissed. Me when they get real mad, they let the Chicago out of them. They try to keep the Chicago in when they're doing business. And so why did we not think Kenny was on the same page as Rick? Because they wanted to have a real search. They didn't want to have to fucking do that shit.
Yeah. But I was reading that and I was like, this is goofy. It's goofy to hear. But our friend of the program, Aloha, Mr. Han, was not as light. He says, I'll be honest. The more I read this quote, the more furious I become. Don't try and pull this bullshit macho tough guy. You were the asshole who fanned Shane for years. You were the asshole who preached Chicago tough. You were the asshole who always had to insert himself when things were going good. Ask Ryan McGuffey, and he tagged him, thank God, and disappeared like a coward when things were bad. You were the asshole in charge of drafting all those years. You were the asshole who had to sign the past their prime players. So, Kenny, I simply say, fuck you and shut the fuck up. Which is, I like that. Aloha, Mr. Han.
I don't know what it has to do with the comment.
Exactly. He's getting out his true feelings.
It has something to do with the comment.
For Kenny Williams. He's getting it out there, just putting it.
It's not about that, though.
He wanted to say that. He's wanted to say that for years. So let him say it. Let him release, because maybe this is anger that he's getting off his chest that we won't ingest on Tuesday and Wednesday when we're just enjoying the last few games at the ballpark. But I mean, Kenny did also in that same fucking. In that article, they were, and I sent you the quote. They're like, it's like, as soon as we started to get good, a former employee is after 2021, and we started to get good again. All of a sudden, Kenny reinserts himself as like, "Hey, motherfuckers, I'm back." They're like, it was like the Jordan unretirement, and I would like initially go in my head, okay, because I'm a Bulls fan and you're a Bulls fan, and we're like, hey. You know, the first time you unretire, that was fucking awesome, right? He came back, won 3 more championships. You know, he paid his dues to the mafia or whatever, and he came back, and we're good. You know, we go into this, but they were talking about when he took 5 years off and then 3 years off and came back and played for the Wizards, and that was awful. So that he totally became the Jordan unretired thing when he come in to play for the Wizards, because he come back in, he's like, yo. Thanks for minding the shot for me while I've been gone. Now I'm going to come in and work my little magic, you know, and like it did not work and it got really bad and then he got fired. So I was like, that was a lot. There's a lot to take.
Well, I mean, from the timing when he came in, they went to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you think he's coming in to steal valor, take credit.
Oh, hell yeah.
Take credit for that, right? I'm part of this, baby.
And we had heard stories.
Everyone wants to be part of it, right? Everyone wants to be part of it. Good.
Who did he go on? He went at like not Bummer. He went at like Jake Diekman and told him how much he fucking hated him. Told him to pack his fucking bags on there on the plane. He's like, "You're fucking out of here." Apparently, he traded fucking Jake Berger.
Allegedly,
while they were in meetings and all that stuff. He was going behind doing a bunch of sneaky bullshit. You know, and then that's fine, you know, whatever. But like, don't come out and then say, "Oh, hey, man, you know, I was right," you know, or I can't talk about Tony La Russa because it makes me not the person I want to be because you were a fucking sneezing little asshole, apparently, like going behind people's backs.
Allegedly. Something that was pretty funny to me is that they made fun of the plane that they fly out. And I said all the planes are like, "Oh, this plane is a bullshit plane," and it is technically the Airbus 320. I don't know if that's
right.
It doesn't. So they made it sound like it was like the plane in Major League, but then I saw a guy tweet something at somebody out there. It's like, well, really, it's not that bad. It's kind of in a similar vein as these other planes that these teams use. So I don't know if it's a little oversold in the story or not, but it would make sense that Reinsdorf had the cheapest ass plane possible, right?
It was a Jake Kuda tweet that apparently got passed around between all the players, that because there's like everyone has this plane except for the Sox, but the Sox and then also another team called the Toronto Blue Jays have the exact same plane. So the Blue Jays fly on the same plane. Yeah. They're not a poverty franchise, folks. They do well. They win games and stuff. It seemed to be fine. So it's not that awful, but it's also one of those things. It's like Benetti can't chew on air or can't eat food on air. That just gets stuck in people's craw. And they're like,
it's like
plane. They have a cheap plane. And that doesn't fucking matter.
That cracked me up because that it leads off the article. And that was the one thing that stuck with most players. And there weren't a lot of there were a few player comments in there. But if that was like the only thing, it's like, well, what the fuck? Who cares? Like, you know?
I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I don't think. I mean, like,
I was gonna say, I fly Southwest.
Like, it doesn't have a lot of fucking coach shit. Listen, folks. Or it doesn't have a lot of first class. It's mostly coach. I fly coach. I know this shocked everybody. Okay.
When you fly,
me, Loaf, and Mrs. Loaf sat in a fucking row of seats. Together. Okay.
Comfy,
you and I,
baby.
We're big. Okay. We're not.
We were comfy.
We're not professional.
We were fine.
When I go to the Sox Garage show to buy a jersey, you know how many jerseys fit me of these players? Fucking zero. Okay, zero. They can fucking sit in a goddamn coach seat, and probably the person in front of them leaning all the way back, and they're fine. It doesn't even matter because they're not that tall. They're not that fat. They got tons of space. Okay. Don't worry about these guys. They're doing fine. It's a free
Jackie
flight.
Treehorn says Jerry playing a long game by not using Boeing. Allegedly. And John Carney says Gene Honda's duct taping the propeller as we speak. I don't want Gene Honda too close to the gas with this heater. I don't want. It's a risk. It is a big risk there. Miss Beef says that was a special experience. The three of
it was.
Twice.
I fell in love with Wild Turkey 101.
Did that twice.
They also. Loaf, like with oh shit, I just lost it. Now I want to ask Alyssa at some point, like, how many cigarettes did that microphone smell like when she was in there? Like, did they give her a fresh mic? Did they give her a new one or whatever? Or is it like covered in tar? What's the deal? Because Gene Honda smokes like a motherfucker.
One thing I noticed MSS in this article, I'm going to start nitpicking some of this stuff because you're so far we've been kind of like just laughing and mostly agreeing with it, but. The article claims to have spoken with nearly 40 people, but here are the named participants in the article.
Yeah, you're not going to get that.
Kenny Williams, Tommy Pham, Pedro Grafal, and Chris Getz. And Tommy Pham's part, I don't think was actually from like a direct interview. I think they pulled it from that podcast because I heard that exact shit he said on a podcast before. So it's like, you just grab these clips. This is like me grabbing a clip from anyone's podcast and putting it in my article. It's like, I interviewed this person. Here it is. It's part of this shit. So I thought it was interesting, like how many alleged things happened, but nobody was willing to go on except for Kenny. Kenny was honest about what he thought. And Getz was honest about what he thought. But, I mean, it was kind of very slim pickings there. Did that interest you a little bit? It's like, it kind of is weird that not a lot of people are willing to go on and talk about nothing.
Here's the deal. Anyone that we know that works with Jerry Reinsdorf doesn't have a lot of bad things to say to him about him as a boss or a person. That's like, true. I've never heard an ill word about him. Like, God, he's so cheap. God, he's so this, he's that. They'll say that about him and operating in the baseball game and signing free agents and how he runs his business. But like, listen, when you get to a certain level of like business stuff, everything he's done has kind of turned to gold. Like, and it's kind of hard to get in that guy's head, especially when they're over 80 and they're worth billions of dollars, and say, listen, you're not doing this right anymore. Right. Like, it's just, it's a hard sell. It's like, what do you know? Like, I smoke cigars older than you, son. Like, sit the fuck down. Look at my Mickey Mantle fucking jersey, okay?
That's why the quotes have been even more. And I understand someone currently working for them wouldn't want to speak, but someone who's not, I would like to see some names in there. Baloney puts neither the Yerman Mercedes quote in there. Yeah, I mean, I think there are people. To me, it adds more credibility if a few more people just say like, put their name on it, like we had to put our names on the shit we put in the athletic article, right? And we didn't say very many positive things about the White Sox, but we put our goddamn names on it. So some of these guys, it's a little weak. A couple things here that I noticed, a little.
Go ahead, because I got the article pull up here in a minute.
That's good. The Benetti thing that they brought up, we've known that for a long time. A lot of people have known that for a long time. Jerry was not a huge fan of Benetti. Okay. No. Brooks Boyer loved Benetti, and that's why he was in the position for 7 years. Despite what all the people are like, you got to fire Brooks Boyer loved Benetti, and that's well known on people who know anything about anything. And he wanted to leave it. It didn't work out. I don't think we need to keep bringing this up. Like, in my opinion, Benetti was gone at some point. That's it. Like, deal with it, okay? And people who right now are currently, I've heard people pining for the Tigers to beat the White Sox at the end of the year so Benetti can call them going to the playoffs against the White Sox. That's sorry-ass behavior. I'm sorry. If you're the one rooting for this, you're a sorry-ass White Sox fan. I don't respect it one bit.
Detroit's like even close to making the playoffs?
They're right up there, baby. They're right by the wild card. Yeah,
I have no idea.
They've been on a heater. They've been on a goddamn heater.
This is what happens when your team sucks. You
lose track of everybody else.
Yeah, I don't
I thought the article, as much as you and me and Treasy hated the La Russa hiring, I thought they tried to pin way too much of the blame on La Russa. And it was comical to try to do it because it's like, well, yeah, he managed the team 1 year, they went to the playoffs. The next year he got sick. And the team underperformed, they had a bunch of injuries, and they didn't go to the playoffs. And that was it. Those were the 2 years. I don't know what else you're looking for from there. But to me, MSS, the article was structured in a way where it was telling you, and it's a story, so it's not really, nothing is truth. These are stories. Think of it as a story. It's a narrative. They're telling you La Russa's a bad guy, Kenny Williams is a bad guy, Jerry Reinsdorf's a bad guy. And those are your villains in the story right here. And I thought La Russa was wearing a little too much of it for my taste, and I'm not a La Russa fan at all.
No, he did, and he like, listen. Anytime you get introduced to your next manager, when what is supposed to be your like breakout window of opportunity, and he just got arrested for a DUI, it is never a good thing. Like, if you were working for a company, you're like, hey, here's your boss, here's your leader. Oh, by the way, he just got arrested for manufacturing methamphetamines in his garage, but he's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. So I mean, you don't have a lot of faith in the person, and you don't really come from a thing. Now, you're right. Like,
and we hated it. Like I was saying, we hated it, and we hated it while it was going on. But like, let's look at it rationally, and like, it wasn't really his fault. Yes, he did some fucked up, goofy things while he's in there, but we heard from several sources. Materially, the players in there really liked him.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it is what
Tim
it is.
Anderson liked him. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's a racist piece of shit. Look at this." And then Tim Anderson's like, "Man, I love this guy. He's like one of my favorite guys. Look at him wearing his hat to the side and wearing his Southside jersey. He's down, dude. He likes Eric B. and Raheem too. Well, this is fucking great.
And we're not pulling all blame from him. He has some blame in this. But they tried to paint it as like, oh, this guy, he derailed the whole thing. You
can't write a fucking article and say there's 17,000 things wrong with the organization, and then you say, yeah, and then the manager came in and made it even worse. He
knocked it over the.
Not really. You know who was somewhat absent in a lot of the blame game here, Loaf?
Who's that?
Teflon Han, Rick Hahn.
You don't say. Absent. You don't say.
Not one thing brought up about him doing anything wrong. It was Kenny, Jerry, Tony. How did this guy escape all this? I mean, he did get mentioned when they said he was asked for comment. He did not comment. But we didn't even talk about him. We don't even say, no, they did talk about him.
They had good things to say about him. Nothing bad. Not one bad thing to say about the guy.
He wanted to get A.J. Hinch to come in, and he was going to come in. But then Tony came out of nowhere. He made the hire, and he was fucked. So, like, we brought that up. I didn't say anything immediately. I was like, we're going to say this in the podcast. But our guy, T.S. Peeps, says it's all an issue. It does start at the top. But that article tried to absolve Rick Hahn of any blame. Fuck that. And it's correct.
It's totally right.
100% correct.
Yes.
Because no one says, now listen, we both like the Craig Kimbrell hire, or like when they brought him
the trade. We like the trade. We were in favor of the trade.
Throwing money out there. Heard Bernstein make fun of where they drafted Madrigal today, and I was like, oh, well, fuck you. Okay, buddy.
You didn't say that when they did it.
Yeah.
You didn't say that when they did it.
They were all that. Okay?
Yeah.
You know,
they're like, the pom-poms were out, baby, when they drafted them guys. Vaughn and Madrigal, they were like, oh, these guys are going to be great.
Look at this guy.
We were the ones saying those guys sucked at the
inside,
time.
a guy in the inner infield that's under 5 foot. This is awesome. But no, so he didn't say, okay, so Craig was not a bad thing. He rolled the dice. It was fine. All right. But then signing broken relief pitchers left and right for $3 to $4 million a piece, probably not the best idea. You know, like I don't think that those were good ideas. Like no one brought that up. No one brought up, hey, we have 19 guys that can play first or DH. Maybe we should find a right fielder. No one brought that up. Like, he's the GM, and I know they're trying to say,
Kimbrell thing, MSS, they held on to Kimbrell. They could have just let him go and freed the money up and spent it on anything. They held him, and then they traded him for A.J. Pollock, who was total ass.
Yep. And
that's a Han move. You could have had the money free if you wanted it. No. You're afraid of your mistake right here, and you got to. Here's what I realized though.
So weird.
In the article, I came to a revelation, MSS, and I'm proud of myself. This is growth. I saw you guys, Shane Reardon, out there on Twitter saying he's not going to fight the trolls, and it's personal growth. Here's some personal growth for the Beef Loaf. Okay, you're right. This article was so much no Han fault, and I think that's why the Han bots loved it, and everyone else loved it, especially White Sox Dave. Okay, White Sox Dave, I love him. You love him. I love talking ball with White Sox Dave, and he's a dear friend, but he's a Han bot. He is part of the Han and the media loving Han. And I used to blame Rick Hahn for this, for the media being up his ass and loving him so much. But you know what? It's not his fault. It's just that the normie media is so easily fooled by anyone with an Ivy League degree. They automatically think this person will be great at their job. And he just wasn't. And you know what? They don't want to admit either. Part of this article is holding on to, I was still right about Rick Hahn. I'm still smart, and this is like the whole media in general. Yes. That's why they won't say anything against him, because they had strong opinions out there that the Sox are going to be good. Oh wait, now that they're not good, it's everyone else's fault, not the guy who I thought was great. He is great, and it doesn't matter. And so, but for me though, I officially no longer blame Rick for this. Okay, I don't blame him for the way the media treats him. I still blame him for the shitty team and for all the mistakes he made in there. But I no longer blame him for how the media treats him. So Rick, if I see you on the street, I'm going to give you a fist bump. I think you did a bad job as the GM, but I respect you.
That's the thing. You know what I'm trying to say. You can separate the person from the employee. I like him, and I would have a drink with him. He was a very big 108, like My Sox Summer guy, because Dave asked him that one time he was on the show. Said, do you remember saying to My Sox Summer, good luck, or good to see you again, when you threw the first pitch or said play ball or something? And he was like, I do. And did we win that game? Blah, 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 whatever. Great guy in that regard. Thought it was hilarious when we gave him shirts at Sox Fest when they still had it. And he said, hey, deal us in on this next, deal us in with the cut. We want to cut. And I was like, well, as soon as we start making money, Rick, we will give you a couple dollars. Okay. So take it easy. So, I mean, good guy. I like the way he was. I would definitely hang out with him and talk shop. I don't want him running my team though. I don't think he made very good decisions. Yeah, and agreed. Even if it wasn't his fault, he didn't have the balls to either get the fuck out of there or just or throw his hands up and say, you know what, fuck this, I'm not doing this. If Kenny can trade somebody behind your back, you fucking do it. Like, you do this. Like, you could do the same thing. Like, fight fire with fire, right, Loaf? That's what you're supposed to do.
I heard that too, and it's like, well, he tried to resign, but Jerry won't let you resign. Let me tell you something. This happens every day in every workplace. Okay, if you want to resign from a job, here's what you do: you don't show up anymore. You give them a letter saying, I'm not showing up anymore, and then you don't be there, okay? And what's the worst they can do to you? Nothing. They might be able to fight you for any, like, a little bit of residual pay. Fine, fuck it. When you're in his tax bracket, you can probably afford it. They can't do shit to you. You walk away and nothing happens. Nothing. Everyone does this in their job every single day. When someone quits a job, they just leave and they stop showing up. You could do that too. And guess what? And everyone defending him like, he couldn't resign. He couldn't resign. I'm thinking, you are all idiots, aren't you? You're just you're happy to be dumbasses about all this stuff. I absolutely love it. Let me pull a few comments here. Yeah, Treasy says Rick Hahn was great. That's why he was immediately scooped up by another org.
Oh, that's a good point. Good point.
Mrs. Beef says don't call him Bernstein. That is correct. Jackie Treon says AJ Pollock voluntarily gave up millions not to be on the Sox. We should have recognized that sign. That's funny too, because I kept telling Josh Nelson he was an idiot. There's no way AJ Pollock's not going to stay with the White Sox. He's going to make this money. And Josh is like, nope, he's gone. He doesn't want to be here. He was totally right. He does not want to be here. And Jerry O'Sullivan says, Han's the guy at the blackjack table who hits on 20.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. Yeah. Jesus. I mean, no. It's just, this is, oh, God. That article was not fine. It was fine to read and everything, but it's exactly what you said. It just gets people fired up again and to keep going, go around. And I'll say this too, and we'll close on this. I got a couple quick things.
But
I was going to say, like, if Benetti really wanted to get his story out, he had the opportunity right there to say all the shit he wants to say, and he didn't, because it's not what everyone thinks it is. You know, you can't trash this guy that stood up for you. I thought it was just, I don't know. I was not happy reading that as I was the Passan article. I thought the Passan article was much better.
Yeah, I agree with you from that standpoint. I thought the Passan article was more interesting to me.
It was a different story to tell.
This one didn't interest me that much because it felt like a lot of rehashed things that we. Yeah, there was a little more detail on some stuff we had, that we were suspecting or thought was the case. But again, there was nothing. There was no revelation. It wasn't like the Passan thing where he revealed that guy works for the organization. He's going to be like the leadership guru. There was nothing broken in this where I was like, oh my God, this is like wild shit or whatever. A couple other things. The article completely glosses over the terrible hire of Pedro Grifol. It literally makes it a non-issue. Right. The team collapses under Grifol's watch. Okay, and real fans know that and watched that and saw how bad he was. And granted, it wasn't all his fault, and you know that. But for the article to just sort of hand wave that away because they had to keep the Hahn thing going where it's like, oh, it's not his fault. So this guy who we spent all this time hiring came in here and trashed the whole thing. It's like, no, it's got to be the other guy's fault. It's not this guy's fault where they had the worst record in team history underneath them. I thought that was hilarious the way they lined that up. And they did try to pose the what Tommy Pham says, what else are you going to do and that type of stuff. Yeah, I guess the roster gets bad. And they had a Grifol quote in there about making them do extra work. And he owned, he
took it.
He takes it, so I respect the hell out of him for just taking it, right? MSS, he looks great in the article.
He does.
Granted, I don't think he's a good manager, but he's a man. He stood up and was like, it is what it is.
He's like, I'm responsible for this.
That's right.
And you're going to go in, same deal, what we're talking about. You're going to see 17,000 things are being done wrong here, but we're not going to blame the guy that was in charge. It's same with what we got going on the north side and south side. We got a north side manager that just got hired away from his team that has secured their spot in the playoffs, has won their division. And they're like, well, if council just had more players and if management could just fix it, then they'd be fine. But but then you're looking at Grifol and you're like, well, this guy just sucks as a manager. He's not good. Well, if he had players that were better, maybe he would look better. I don't understand how this works. Maybe Council is built up a pedigree in his career.
Well, he's won a lot.
And they can say, okay, well, look at this. It's definitely the players, it's not him, right? Yeah. But he's not even given it a chance, to be honest with you. With the player stacks, it wasn't like he had a loaded team. They came in and it's like, here's the keys to the car, like they did with LaRussa. And maybe it would have worked. Maybe what he did would have worked with a good team. It does not work with a team that is just shitting the bed continuously. It's just not working there. So I don't know. It's just a weird thing to see between the two sides of the town right now, where you're making excuses for one because, and some, I guess, are rightfully so, but also it's like, people think a good manager is going to cure bad players, and it's just not. It just doesn't happen that way.
JT says, sell the plane, Jerry. That's funny. I wonder when Jerry bought the plane. So you wonder when that guy got hired. I wonder when Jerry bought this plane. Well, I'm curious.
I floated a
what vintage is that plane?
I floated a theory by you earlier that United was going to get rid of it, like you got rid of your big screen TV. And like that, Jerry came up and said, listen, I think it's still pretty good. I'm going to take it. I think I can use this. And he's like, look, this is my daily driver now. Look at this. This is great. So yeah, maybe United was going to get rid of it. He's just like, hey, can I cut a deal with you? And they're like, you can just have it. We were going to recycle it. So
Jackie Treehorn's pissed at you. Says, let's not compare Grifol to any competent manager.
Well, Jackie Treehorn's been on his. I think he's off his meds. Okay?
I get the point MSS was trying to make, but Jackie, I kind of agree with you. Grifol's a disaster. Han did not have to own it in the article at all. They kind of let that roll off. Oh, that's no one's fault. The real bad manager that was hired, nobody's fault. And there was an excerpt in there. Here's the players the White Sox developed, and it was Tim Anderson and Garrett Crochet under Han's watch. The rest was all trades. It was like, oh, okay, that's great. Absolutely great. One other thing I noticed, and it was Chris Getz's passage. I'll pull the quote up real quick. He says, my experience so far is if it can be presented in a way that is educated and you use the people you have around you, it's well received, Getz said. Jerry now has a better understanding of the value in analytics. He's very open-minded and supportive of investing further. My Sox Summer, this is Chris Getz smacking the shit out of both Kenny Williams and Rick Hahn. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. When I read that exactly, I thought, this is him saying, my former bosses had no idea how to really present ideas to the chairman to get them actually pushed through.
And we spoke about this briefly, and I don't think this is necessarily the case, but you can read that quote in another way too at the end there. Now he's going to invest in it because maybe you're like Jerry. He's going into Jerry and saying, listen, we've told this guy there's 2 different ways to do this. Or this guy has not given him a plan on what to work on in the offseason. There's no direction. Okay. If I have another coach and it's going to cost you $50,000, $100,000 a year, who's going to be on his ass, he's going to hit another 15 home runs for you, and you're going to win some ball games. You're not going to be seeing this. So he is figuring out a way to speak to Jerry to get him on board with some of these things, because apparently no one loves baseball more than Jerry Reinsdorf, and he loves baseball, but he just can't get out of his own way to make it better. So now, if Chris gets, by some grace of God, I was like, listen, the only way we can get through to Jerry is to like ultimately tank this whole fucking year. Like, we can't even get a draft.
We gotta lose all the games.
There's no benefit. So that's why,
for getting the chairman to do what we want. That's it.
Right. Everyone's so happy still because Gretz is like, good job, guys. It's exactly what we want. Shh, don't tell Jerry. If he figured this out and this is the way to get to him and embarrassing him on this public level, like as he is, this is amazing. And this is like fucking genius level shit. I don't think that's the case. But if it is, holy shit, what a fucking coup. That was amazing. Good job, because you finally got through to him. And finally, it doesn't matter. Billboards, what we say as fans, any of this bullshit, don't show up to park. All we needed was them to lose 120 some fucking games, and we're fucking gonna have great teams from now on after about 5 years of rebuilding and figuring some shit out. But yeah, we're gonna have good teams after that. So like, thank you, Chris Guest, for doing it on purpose, or it just fell in your lap, which is fine, because as our once so great manager said, I'd rather be lucky than good. So good job. You got lucky.
In closing there, I now agree with White Sox Dave. It is worth reading. It is worth your time. Only at a minimum, for the things that are really funny in there. There's a lot of funny things, like the Kenny Williams thing that we pulled up earlier. So, thanks for listening to us pontificate. It is now time for thank yous and GFYs. My Sox Summer, you're up first.
I mean, first off, big thank you to our sponsor, Lawrence's Fish and Shrimp. Coming through, like, she didn't even shut her car off. She just left it running over there, and I'm assuming locked it, because we're in such a bad neighborhood. People were sharpening sticks and shit, and asking for cigarette lighters.
Hello.
But no, she came over with all that stuff and just threw it up there and was like, all right, I gotta go. And then she's like, you guys got bourbon? And we're like, fuck yeah, we got bourbon. And so they gave her a to-go cup of the bourbon that she took back to her car, which is, I'm sure is not legal, but don't worry about that. I mean,
I'm sure she drank it before she got in the car. Don't worry
let's worry about
nothing illegal happened there.
Let's worry about Puff Daddy and all those people. So thank you for that. But also, again, like we throw this party and we do it with the bums, because the bums are professionals at this shit. Yes, and at the end, we're all like, hey, what can we do to help? And they're like, fuck you, go inside. Like, we do this. This is our job. So again, thank you guys very much for coming through and showing us how to do this. Yeah, once again, you did it in Milwaukee this year with us, and you did it here to close out the home. We're happy to volunteer food as long as we don't have to show up till the party starts at 3:00. We'll do that again anytime you want. So just let us know. But yeah, thanks again for you guys. You guys are the real MVPs, as KD would say. So, Wolf, who are you thinking of GFYing?
I got several thank yous. I'm going to thank Todd Welter for having me on Locked On Sox. Yeah. It's been a minute since I've been on Locked On Sox. You guys were on there recently. You guys did a great job. It's funny. You got to do G-rated on Locked On Sox. And so,
you do.
Like, I kept it real tight or whatever. Yeah. No swearing. And then I realized after the recording was done, I told Mrs. Beef, if you look behind me in my background, I have a sticker up that says I'm fucking Ben Affleck. I think that probably got through. I think that got through, so I think we're probably good there. So beautiful. I want to thank Jeff Passan on his article on the White Sox situation. Also, thank him for the back and forth in the DMs just to discuss some of the parts of it. You know, and also thanking him for wearing the Wave Sucks hoodie on Dan Patrick's show. True fan of the show. Jeff Passan. Yep. Even though he didn't come through the section, I told him I MF'd him for not coming through the section, MSS, and that's when he
should.
That's when he was like upset with me, like, oh, you know, we already got we got video of you acting like an asshole.
Sometimes
that's fine. We're celebrating a victory, but Jeff, you should have come through. That's all I'm saying about that.
Sometimes you don't want to meet your heroes, and clearly we are Jeff Passan's heroes.
Well, man, maybe he's worried about he likes to control the environment. He doesn't want the other weirdos. If he could meet us, he probably would. But he's worried about everybody else because that's how he was with some of the show stuff. So I
can kind of understand that with a couple of members of the 108. Okay, I can understand why he would say that.
Speaking of that, I also want to thank Sam Anderson and NBC5 for coming down to interview. And Sam, my apologies for all the maniacs that you had to talk to on Saturday night. I know you came to talk to us, and you initially wanted to get some sound bites from us, and a lot of crazy and drunken fans talked your fucking ear off. I hope you enjoyed it. I know you came back on Sunday and came and said hi, so I hope you enjoyed all that. And another thanks to Zach Meisler, who did a great article in The Athletic for about it.
Yeah.
We've done a little too much media for now. I hope that we can go and enjoy Lost 121 at Sox Park, MSS. We're going to enjoy that this week because it's lined up for us.
It's looking like it. So, yeah, we'll be around.
Beautiful. We'll see you guys. Thanks, everyone.